Hello, everyone, and welcome into the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Today, we're live from Consol Energy Park for Game 1 of a 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Ziegler, taking you through the entire 2016 season. We are back after the All-Star break. A good 4 days off for your Washington Wild Things. Return to start the second half of the season. Wild Things currently sitting tied for first with the first place Joliet Slammers. Look to keep themselves there in today's matchup. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show. Coming up, we're going to look at Sunday's 8-1 win over the Schaumburg Boomers that put your Wild Things in first place. Also going to do a first half recap of your Wild Things now currently in first place in the Frontier League East Division standing. Also a look at the lineup and the first pitch for today's game. It's all coming up right here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. As we said, game 1 of 3 here at Consol Energy Park between the Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. On Sunday, the Wild Things concluded the first half of the season by defeating the Schaumburg Boomers by a score of 8-1. Trevor Foss was on the mound for your Washington Wild Things, and Foss was great. A complete game, his 7th complete game of the season as he chases history. 9 complete games is the record for a season. Trevor Foss just 2 away from that. Foss will be starting in tomorrow night's game. However, in that game, going to take a look at the scoring recap for you. The Wild Things would get on the board first in the first inning as Jamadric Magruder tripled to start things off. Then Ricky Rodriguez into a fielder's choice. Magruder was thrown out trying to go to home plate, so Rodriguez reached second base as Magruder got in a rundown, so there was 1 out and a runner on second. Then Chris Grayson grounded out to first base before Dave Popkins, an RBI single that scored Ricky Rodriguez from second and gave your Wild Things the early 1-0 lead. Then the Wild Things would add on in inning number 3. Jamadric Magruder started things off with a strikeout. Then Ricky Rodriguez doubled, and Chris Grayson, a routine ground ball to the shortstop. It went through Oberg's legs, who was playing short for Schaumburg, and allowed Ricky Rodriguez to score. That made it 2-0 Wild Things. Then Dave Popkins, one batter later, drove in Grayson with an RBI double. That made it 3-0 Wild Things. Jimmy Yezza would single and Andrew Heck would line out to end the inning. The Schaumburg Boomers got their run in the top of the 4th. Paul Kroenfeld lined out to start things. Then Dusty Robinson reached on an error by first baseman Logan Uxa. Uxa dropped a throw from Austin Wobrock. Then Mark Nelson would single and Kenny Towns, an RBI single, drove in Dusty Robinson, the only run of the game for the Schaumburg Boomers, and that made the score 3-1. However, the Wild Things would answer in the bottom of the 4th inning. Logan Uxa started things off with a single, then Kyle Pollock walked. A sac bump by Austin Wobrock moved the runners over to second and third with 1 away before Jamadric Magruder grounded out to first. And Ricky Rodriguez, all-star, came through with a 2 RBI double, scoring both Uxa and Pollock. That made the score 5-1 Wild Things. Then in the bottom of the 5th, Wild Things added on again. Dave Popkins struck out to start things, and Jimmy Yezzo, a solo home run, his 7th of the year, made the score 6-1 Wild Things. Then Andrew Heck struck out, Logan Uxa singled, and Kyle Pollock flew out to end that inning. Then going to the bottom of the 7th is when the Wild Things would add on next. Dave Popkins struck out, and once again, Jimmy Yezzo, his 2nd home run of the day, his 8th home run of the year, and that gave the Wild Things the lead 7-1. Andrew Heck would fly out and Logan Uxa would strike out to end things. Insurance runs added on in the bottom of the 8th. 2 strikeouts to start the inning. Kyle Pollock and Austin Wobrock each struck out before Jamadric Magruder singled, Ricky Rodriguez walked, and Chris Grayson, an RBI single that scored Magruder and gave the Wild Things their 8-1 lead. Dave Popkins would strike out to end the inning. Trevor Foss, looking for his 7th complete game in the 9th inning, kind of got roughed up in that 9th inning. His really only bad inning of the game, as Mark Nelson singled to start things. Then Kenny Towns flew out. Zach Weigel singled with 1 out, so there were runners at first and second before a strikeout of James Keller. Then Nick Oberg singled, so the bases were loaded with 2 outs, and Griff Gordon would fly out to end the game, giving the Wild Things the 8-1 win. Trevor Foss picked up the win, improved to 7-2 on the year, and picked up his 7th complete game of the 2016 season. The record for complete games in a season is 9. That record set back in the 2000 season, by Matt Sheets and Tony Hardin. So Trevor Foss chasing that record of 9 complete games in a season. In total, went 9 innings, gave up 9 hits, 1 run, it wasn't earned, no walks, and 9 strikeouts on the day for Foss. Opposing him on the mound was Lars Liguori. Liguori only went 4 innings in the game, gave up 5 runs, 3 earned on 8 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. He was relieved by Derek DeYoung. DeYoung went 2 innings, giving up a run. It was earned on 3 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. And then Patrick Dolan came in the game, and he gave up 2 runs in his 2 innings of work. And with that win and a Joliet Slammers loss, your Washington Wild Things are now tied for first in the Frontier League East. And because they have the season series lead over the Joliet Slammers, they are the first place team with their record of 27-22. We're going to take our first break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we're going to do a little recap of the first half of the season for your Washington Wild Things. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting ready to start the second half of the season here for your Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of 3 between the Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. The first time the Wild Things have seen the Southern Illinois Miners. Miners in first place on the Frontier League West side of the Independent League Frontier League. The Wild Things in first on the East Division side. So the battle of 2 first-place teams here at Consol Energy Park tonight. Now, the first half of the season, Wild Things end with a record of 27-22 before the All-Star break. A much better team on the road, surprisingly, than here at home. On the road, they are 14-9. At home, they are 13-13. Their pitching has been fabulous this year. Trevor Foss, Chase Cunningham, Matt Fraud, and Luke Wilkins, the mainstays in the rotation, have really done well. Wilkins, tonight's starter, has a record of 2-1. His ERA currently sits at 3.24. Trevor Foss, an all-star starting pitcher. Zach Groats in the bullpen. That bullpen's been fabulous for your Wild Things. Groats, Davis, Wick, all down there at the back end of that bullpen. When they have a lead in the 7th inning or later, it's almost a guaranteed win for your Wild Things with Davis, Wick, and Groats back there. Zach Groats, an all-star. The defense has been really good on this team. The only problem we've seen for this first half is very spawny offense. There'll be days when the offense can hit everything, and then there's days the offense can't hit anything. An example of that is Chase Cunningham. Cunningham has a 2-4 record right now, but currently 5th on the team with a 2.88 ERA. His problem has been run support. Prior to his last 2 starts, he had a string of 4 straight starts where he got 1 run or fewer in support by his offense. So if Cunningham gets some support, he's really good pitching. That offense has to become more consistent if it wants to sustain the success the Wild Things have been having, and they need to play better at home. They're 13-13 here at home. Hopefully get that home record up and continue your road success, and the Wild Things will be fine for the rest of the season. Right now on the field, they're talking about the award won by one of your Wild Things this week. Logan Uxa named the Week 9 Player of the Week by the Frontier League. Uxa, who joined us in the first week of June, appeared in 25 games so far. He recorded a .526 batting average last week, including a double, a triple, and 2 home runs, while driving in 6. His season batting average now sits at .316, which is good for first in average on this Washington Wild Things team. So Logan Uxa, congratulations on the Week 9 Player of the Week here in the Frontier League of Independent Baseball. We're going to take another break here on the MSA Sports Network. When we come back, we're going to look at the lineups and the pitching matchup for tonight's game. First pitch coming at 7:05. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting you ready for Game 1 of a 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. We're back from the All-Star break, ready for the second half of baseball here in the Frontier League, with your Washington Wild Things sitting tied for first in the Frontier League East standings. They play the Southern Illinois Miners tonight. Joliet, the team they're tied with, plays against the they play against the Florence Freedom in Florence. So we'll be watching their game to see if the Wild Things tonight can take sole possession of first place here in the Frontier League East standings. The Wild Things being introduced on the field right now. So we're getting ready for the national anthem here from Consol Energy Park. We're going to take you down to the field for that national anthem. We'd like to remind you, listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. And as the teams take the field for the national anthem, we'd like to remind you we're going to the second half of the season. Wild Things Miners, game 1 of 3 in tonight at Consol Energy Park. Right now, we're going to take you down to the field for the national anthem to PA announcer Bill DeFabio here at Consol Energy Park. Keep listening right here on the MSA Sports Network for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
Sponsoring your Washington Wild Things. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise. Gentlemen and boys, you will remove your caps. Performing tonight's national anthem, let's welcome the Marshall County Strings.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. We are officially ready for Game 1 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. The Wild Things take the field like this. In the outfield left to right, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, Dave Popkins. Left side of the infield held down by Ricky Rodriguez and Austin Wolbrock. Right side by Jamondrick Magruder and Jimmy Yezzo. And it'll be Kyle Pollock behind the plate, catching tonight's starter, Luke Wilkins. Wilkins enters this one with a record of 2-1, a 3.24 ERA. Making his 8th start of the year in his 8th game, has thrown 44 1/3 innings of work, giving up 17 runs, 16 of those earned on 31 hits, 27 strikeouts, and 24 walks for the right-hander from Sydney, Australia. The lineup he'll face for the Southern Illinois Miners looks like this. They'll lead off with their center fielder, Aaron Gates. Batting second in right field, Nolan Early. Batting third at second base, Craig Macy. Batting fourth, first baseman Alex DeLeon. Batting fifth, designated hitter Vin Gilletti. Batting sixth at third base, Steve Marino. In the 7-hole behind the plate, Riley Moore. Batting eighth in left field, Edison Sanchez. And batting ninth at short, Francisco Rosario. Aaron Gates making his way to the plate, and we are just about ready for baseball here at Consol Energy Park to start the second half of your Frontier League season. Aaron Gates makes his way to the plate. Gates enters tonight hitting .322, 5 home runs, and 31 RBIs. Luke Wilkins making his 8th start of the year on the mound. It'll be Trevor Foss tomorrow, Chase Cunningham on Sunday. Gates digging in right now. The Miners, the first place team in the Frontier League West. Your Wild Things, the first place team in the Frontier League East. Wilkins set in. Here is the first pitch. And it's high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. First pitch tonight thrown at 7:06 p.m. And the temperature outside currently 73 degrees. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot. Wilkins' next pitch is swung on and missed, 1 ball and 1 strike. As Aaron Gates going outside of the strike zone to chase that one. For Luke Wilkins, his big key will be limiting walks. Before last start, he had more walks than strikeouts in the season. Really settled down on his last time on the mound. This one grounded to the left side. Austin Wobrock handles, throwing to first, and it's in time for out number 1. So a quick first out here on the top of the first, and that'll bring up right fielder Nolan Early. Early on the year, currently is hitting .268, 4 home runs, and 30 RBIs. On the bases for the Southern Illinois Miners, manager Mike Pinto coaching over at third base, and then they'll transition with a player every inning over at first base. Early stepping in now. Had a big rainstorm come through here about 4:30 Eastern time. It cleared up about 5, and we luckily got the game started in time. Wilkins setting the pitch, and Early hits this one to right field. Dave Popkins back to the track, nearing the wall, and he'll make the catch, and that is out number 2. Popkins having to run a long way to get to that one, and there are quickly 2 outs here at the top of the first, no score, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Craig Massey. Massey currently hitting .338, 4 home runs, and 22 RBIs. First time the Wild Things have seen these Southern Illinois Miners, and looking through their stats, lots of guys hitting over 300. They're a very good offensive team. Their pitching is very good as well, have a deep starting rotation, and their back end of the bullpen has been good except for the month of May. Wilkins set, here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. Wilkins getting ahead of Craig Massey here with 2 outs in the top of the first. And that's what you want to see from Wilkins on the mound today. Wilkins set the 0-1. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. When Luke Wilkins working ahead, he is very successful. It's when he falls behind that he starts to get in trouble. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And this ball hit down the left field line, hooking. It'll go back into the seats foul, so the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 2 men out here in the top of the first. First game back from the All-Star break, starting the second half of your Frontier League season. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And swinging a line drive down the left field line. That one will go foul as well, and the count will remain 1 ball, 2 strikes. A couple of those Southern Illinois Miner bullpen members trying to make a play on that foul ball, but they can't, and it'll roll down the foul line. Andrew Heck will retrieve it in the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out here in front of about a half-full crowd here at Consol Energy Park on a fireworks night. Friday night here at Consol Energy Park, always fireworks nights throughout the season. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-2. And a called strike 3. Wilkins strikes him out, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Southern Illinois Miners here in the first. And after half an inning, the score, the Miners nothing. Your Washington Wild Things coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here at the Consol Energy Park for Game 1 of a 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Miners go 1-2-3 in the first inning. They align in the outfield like this. Outfield left to right, Edison Sanchez, Aaron Gates, and Nolan Early. Left side of the infield held down by Steve Marino and Francisco Rosario. Right side held down by Craig Massey and Alex De Leon. Behind the plate, Riley Moore. Catching tonight's starter, Dylan Nurnberg. Nurnberg enters this one with a record of 3-1, a 3.10 ERA. appearing in his 9th game, making his 9th start of the season, has thrown 49 and a third innings of work, giving up 21 runs, 17 earned on 35 hits, 37 strikeouts, and 15 walks on the season for Nuremberg. The lineup he'll face for your Washington Wild Things looks like this. They'll lead off with their second baseman, Jamadrick Magruder, batting second at third, Ricky Rodriguez. Hitting third in center field, Chris Grayson. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Hitting fifth, first baseman Jimmy Yezzo. Batting sixth in left field, Andrew Hecht. Hitting seventh, designated hitter Logan Uxa. Batting eighth behind the plate, Kyle Pollock. And batting ninth at shortstop is Austin Wobrock. On the mound for your Wild Things, as you saw, was right-handed pitcher Luke Wilkins. Nuremberg going through his warm-up tosses here, ready to face your Washington Wild Things. First of a 3-game series tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Your Wild Things will be taking on these Southern Illinois Miners. Jamadrick Magruder making his way to the plate. Magruder in his short time with the Wild Things so far, hitting .500 with no home runs and 1 RBI. This is Magruder's 3rd game with the Wild Things. 4 for 8 to start his Washington Wild Things career. Both games he's been in that leadoff spot and out at second base. He steps in, and we're just about ready for the bottom of the first. As Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, here's the pitch. And Magruder swing and a miss. The bat flies out of his hand and goes towards Ricky Rodriguez. No balls and a strike. As we said, we did have a little bit of rain earlier in the day, so it might have been a wet bat, and he just lost the grip on it, and it flew towards the Wild Things dugout. 0-1, bottom of the first. No score between the Southern Illinois Miners and your Washington Wild Things. On the base paths for your Washington Wild Things, coaching over at third base, manager Greg Langben, and coaching at first base will be Mike Marshall, the hitting coach. As Jamadrick Magruder rosins up his bat, now stepping back in to face Dylan Nuremberg. And Nuremberg, one of the aces of this Southern Illinois Miners team, 3-1, the 3.10 ERA. He's set, here's the 0-1. And Magruder takes this one high. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. For Magruder out of the leadoff spot, he likes to work the count. Told me earlier in the season he likes to stay up the middle, so that's usually his approach when at the plate. The 1-1, and that one's high for a ball as well. 2 balls and a strike. Your Washington Wild Things tonight in their red alternate jerseys, while the Southern Illinois Miners in their black alternate jerseys. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And Magruder takes this one just off the outside corner for a ball, so Nuremberg falls behind the first hitter he faces here tonight. 3 balls and a strike, and Magruder's speed if he can get on the base paths. Here's the 3-1, and Magruder takes outside, ball 4, so a leadoff walk gets things started for your Wild Things here in the bottom of the first. Magruder reaches, and that'll bring to the plate one of your Wild Things All-Stars, third baseman Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez on the year hitting .308, 5 home runs, and 20 RBIs. Currently second on your Wild Things team in average, third in RBIs and home runs. Nobody out, bottom of the first. Runner on first as Jamadrick Magruder walked to start things here at Consol Energy Park. Dylan Nuremberg looking in to his catcher, Riley Moore, has his sign. He's set, checks first, and a throw over there, and Magruder gets back in safely. Magruder, so far, 3 games with the Wild Things. No stolen bases to this point, but has showed his wheels this season, as he does have a triple on the year, a hustle triple down the line. Nuremberg has his sign, the pitch, and Rodriguez takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 1 for 2 in the All-Star game on Wednesday with a double. Nuremberg looks into Riley Moore. Shaking off the first sign. Now has one he wants. He's set. And the 0-1 on the way. And Rodriguez takes this one outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. For Nuremberg, jumped ahead of Jamadrick Magruder and Ricky Rodriguez 0-1. Came back and walked Magruder on 4 straight pitches. Now a 1-1 count here to Ricky Rodriguez. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs. Toss over to first. And Magruder getting back in safely over there. So Dylan Nuremberg keeping a very close eye on Jamadrick Magruder over there at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. No score between the Southern Illinois Miners and your Washington Wild Things. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1 on the way. Another throw over, and Magruder gets back. Magruder, for the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, where he came to the Washington Wild Things from last season, had 23 stolen bases and was caught 10 times, so he does have the ability to swipe a bag if need be. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1. And Rodriguez, a slow roller to third. Handled over there, a throw over to first. And it's in time to get Rodriguez for out number 1. They had no play at second base. So Jamadrick Magruder moving up to second with 1 man out. And that'll bring to the plate center fielder Chris Grayson. Grayson on the year currently hitting .273, no home runs, and 3 RBIs, playing in game number 6 as a Washington Wild thing. Runner at second, 1 man out. That ground ball over there handled by Steve Marino. Marino, the captain of this Southern Illinois Miners team. You don't always see a captain here in the Frontier League, but for the Miners, it's Steve Marino with that honor. He's the captain for the Miners, and Chris Grayson coming to the plate. Grayson out there in center field has taken over that center field position for your Washington Wild things. Nuremberg has his sign, checks Magruder at second base, and the pitch on the way. And Grayson takes this one at the knees for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Umpires for tonight's game behind home plate, Mark Schmidt, and on the bases will be Jim Scaly. Jamadrick Magruder at second. He walked to lead things off and then moved over on the ground out by Ricky Rodriguez. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, and the 0-1. And another swing and a miss by Grayson, no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Fell down to a knee on that swing. Kind of an awkward swing from Chris Grayson. So stepping back in there looking for better results on this next pitch. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 after a check to Magruder. And now he'll step off as he doesn't like what he saw. Shortstop Francisco Rosario kind of bouncing back and forth between second base and the shortstop position, trying to get Magruder off balance. And instead, Nuremberg will just do things again. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And this one's in the dirt to Chris Grayson, smothered by Riley Moore behind the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. Nuremberg trying to get Grayson to chase a breaking ball in the dirt, but Grayson just will not swing at it, and the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out here in the bottom of the first. Nuremberg looks in. Still going in. Now has his sign. He's set. Checks Magruder and the 1-2. And a swing and a miss by Grayson. He strikes out, and that is out number 2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, following the leadoff walk by Jamadrick Magruder, and that'll bring to the plate right fielder Dave Popkins. Popkins enters this one, .297, 7 home runs, and 24 RBIs. His 7 home runs currently good for second place on this Washington Wild Things team. 2 outs bottom of the first, no score between your Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Dave Popkins, the starter in the 2016 All-Star game in Florence, Kentucky. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second and the pitch. And Popkins pops it up. On shortstop, Francisco Rosario going over a couple steps. And Rosario make the catch, and that is out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, but a man left after the walk. And after 1 inning of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, Southern Illinois Miners nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the second. And the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, Southern Illinois Miners nothing. A 9-pitch inning for Luke Wilkins in the first, as he got Aaron Gates to ground out, then Nolan Early flew out, and Craig Massey struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the second, Alex De Leon, Vin Giletti, and Steve Marino, 4, 5, and 6, facing the right-hander Luke Wilkins. Wilkins, a Sydney, Australian native, coming over to the Wild Things last season. His second year with the ball club. Last year led the team in wins and ERA. It was 8-5 last season for these Washington Wild Things, and at a 3.77 ERA. Making his way to the plate to lead things off against Luke Wilkins is Alex De Leon here in this second inning. De Leon going to enter this at bat, currently hitting .293, 8 home runs, and 41 RBIs. Looking up and down this Miners roster, they are a power-heavy team. 10 homers for Steve Marino, 8 for Alex De Leon, 5 for Aaron Gates, and a bunch of people with 2 or 1 home run on the season. So Alex De Leon stepping in. De Leon, a catcher by trade, plays first base for the Southern Illinois Miners. De Leon grounds his first pitch to third. Rodriguez handles it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 away here to start the top of the second. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Vin Galletti. Galletti on the year currently is hitting .241, 3 homers and 11 RBIs for the Southern Illinois Miners. Now, the Galletti name might sound familiar because the Wild Things saw him. He was with the Gateway Grizzlies to start the year, was let go by the Grizzlies, and picked up by the Southern Illinois Miners. So Luke Wilkins said, here's the first pitch, and Galletti takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Galletti, facing Luke Wilkins. Galletti in his 22nd game with the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins set, here's the 0-1. And Galletti grounds us to first, handled over there by Yezo, takes it to the bag himself, and quickly there are 2 away here in the top of the second. That'll bring up the third baseman, Steve Marino. Marino currently is hitting, .312, 10 homers, and 44 RBIs out of that number 6 spot. 2 outs here in the top of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Luke Wilkins taking a stroll behind the plate as Marino taking his time stepping in. Now, we talked about it earlier. Steve Marino, the captain of the Southern Illinois Miners, the only team we've seen with a captain to this point in the season. Not very often that you see it. Talking, to Jason Garrett, the announcer for the Southern Illinois Miners. He's the first captain in Miners history, as he'll take this first pitch inside for a strike. No balls and a strike right on the inside corner. 0-1 here on Steve Marino. 2 outs, top of the second. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Marino takes this one outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Wilkins so far seeing him attack the strike zone early on against the Southern Illinois Miners. He set, here's the 1-1. And this one lined foul back towards the seats, and it'll go behind the Wild Things bullpen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Steve Marino, the number 6 man in the order for the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, the 1-2. And this one grounded towards third. Rodriguez handles it, throw on to first, and it's in time for out number 3. Second straight 1-2-3 inning for Luke Wilkins, and after 1.5 the score. The Southern Illinois Miners nothing, your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the bottom of the second, and the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, and the Southern Illinois Miners nothing. Dylan Nurnberg going through his warm-up tosses. Last inning, walked Jamadrick Magruder to start things, then Ricky Rodriguez grounded out, Chris Grayson struck out, and Dave Popkins popped out to end the inning. 13-pitch first inning for Dylan Nurnberg. Due up here in the second will be Jimmy Yezo, Andrew Heck, and Logan Uxa, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in this Washington Wild Things order. This series continues tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch here at Consol Energy Park, where Trevor Foss will take the mound in search of his 8th complete game of the season, taking on the Southern Illinois Miners. For the Miners, on the mound in tomorrow night's contest will be Dan Ludwig, opposing Trevor Foss. Nuremberg done with his warm-up tosses, and that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Jimmy Yezo. Yezo on the season, currently .225, 8 home runs, and 26 RBIs. Hit 2 home runs in that 8-1 win on Sunday against the Schaumburg Boomers, giving him the team lead in home runs with 8. As Yezo stepping in here to begin things at the bottom of the second. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners from Consol Energy Park. Dylan Nuremberg looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Yezo takes his first one low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Jimmy Yezo. Dylan Nuremberg had to throw a lot of pitches, especially to the first batter last inning, but got the 3 outs rather quickly. Yezo hitting this one to center field, going over his gates, and he'll make the catch in left center field for out number 1. So quickly 1 away here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck currently on the season. He's hitting .258, no home runs, and 9 RBIs. Out there in left field today, Grant Fink got the start in left field on Saturday against the Schaumburg Boomers. Heck was out there for Sunday's game. It's been a revolving door in that left field ever since Nick Ferdinand retired. We've seen Andrew Heck out there. We've seen Chris Grayson, who's now in center field over there. And we've also seen Grant Fink play that left field position. Andrew Heck there tonight. Nuremberg set. Here's the pitch. And Andrew Heck takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Andrew Heck as Dylan Nuremberg falling behind Heck here. Got Yezo to pop out after going behind 1-0. Here it comes. And Heck grounds this one to short. Rosario charging. He has it. Throw on to first is just in time to get Andrew Heck for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Another very quick inning as these first 2 innings for both of these pitchers have been rather quick. 13 pitches in the first for Nuremberg. 9 pitches in the first for Wilkins. And last inning, Wilkins, another very efficient inning, only had to throw 8 pitches in the second inning. So far, 4 pitches for Nuremberg brings Logan Uxa to the plate. Uxa so far, .316, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. Here's Nuremberg's pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Uxa's .316 average currently good for the team lead on the Washington Wild Things. Nuremberg looking into Riley Moore. As his sign, here's the 0-1. And Uxa takes this one outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Logan Uxa, the Week 9 Frontier League Player of the Week. He hit .556 over last week with 2 homers, also a triple, and drove in 6. Here's the 1-1, and that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Nuremberg behind Logan Uxa. 2 outs, bottom of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners from Washington, Pennsylvania. Nuremberg has his sign, the 2-1, and that one's high for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. We have seen Nuremberg walk a guy so far, but is yet to give up a base hit in this contest. Jamadrick Magruder, a walk to start the game, has been the only base runner for your Wild Things so far. Nuremberg has his sign. Here's the 3-1, and Uxa takes this one high, ball 4. Second walk of the day for Dylan Nuremberg, and it gives the Wild Things a 2-out base runner, and will bring up the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock currently hitting .220, no homers, and 4 RBIs. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. A very good pitching matchup today. Luke Wilkins has been very consistent all season. Dylan Nuremberg, one of the aces of this Southern Illinois Miners pitching staff. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Pollock takes this one way inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Kyle Pollock. Nuremberg had to face 4 men in the first inning, facing his 4th man here in the bottom of the second. Nuremberg has his sign, checks Uxa at first, and the 1-0. And Pollock takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kyle Pollock, the primary catcher for your Washington Wild Things, taking over the position after coming off the disabled list in the middle of June against the Traverse City Beach Bums. Nuremberg has his sign, and the 1-1. And Pollock takes this one low for a ball, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. We've noticed Nuremberg has been really working behind in the count these first 2 innings. So far, he's been pretty effective as he's retired all but 2 of the first 7 Wild Things hitters. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, checks first, and the 2-1. And Pollock takes this one inside for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. 2 outs, bottom of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Logan Uxa currently at first base. He walked with 2 men out. The second walk of the day for Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, and the 3-1. And Pollock takes this one high, ball 4. So back-to-back 2-out walks have runners at first and second for the Wild Things. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock currently 199, 1 home run, and 9 RBIs. Runners at first and second, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 2 straight 2-out walks from Dylan Nuremberg have put him in a little bit of a jam. Still has not given up a hit, and that will prompt a visit from the Southern Illinois Miners pitching coach. And while we have a moment, going to take a look at these Frontier League East standings after the first half of the season. As we said, the Washington Wild Things currently tied for first place here in the Frontier League East with 27-22 their record. The Joliet Slammers also tied with the Wild Things. They're 28-23. However, the Wild Things own the season series over Joliet, so the Wild Things get precedent at the top of the standings. Then the Lake Erie Crushers in third. They have a record of 24-25, 3 games back. Then Windy City 24-27. They're 4 games back. Schaumburg 4.5 at 24-28. And the Traverse City Beach Bums sit at 22-29, currently 6 games back of your Washington Wild Things. The meeting on the mound is over. Wobrock coming to the plate. Wobrock, as we said, 199, 1 home run, and 9 RBIs on this 2016 season. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, and no score between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks second base, here's the pitch. And Wobrock takes this one in the dirt for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Nuremberg falling behind Wobrock again. Dylan Nuremberg, as we said, has been very good all season long. In fact, in his last start, he only walked 2 men in 7 innings of work. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Checks Uxa. Here's the pitch. And Wobrock fouls this one back into the seats. 1 ball and a strike. Count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs. 2 men on. Logan Uxa and Kyle Pollock. Back-to-back 2-out walks. They stand at first and second with those 2 men out. Austin Wobrock, the lone all-star for your Washington Wild Things last season. Wild Things sent 4 this season to the Frontier League All-Star game. Nuremberg has his sign. Checks second, the 1-1. And Wobrock again fouling this one off. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. The second time today, the Wild Things have had a runner in scoring position. Logan Uxa standing there this inning. Jamadrick Magruder reaching second base last inning after the walk. See if Wobrock can bring him in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nuremberg looks into his catcher, Riley Moore. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, checks Uxa, and the 1-2. And Wobrock to left field. Going back to the track, and it's over his head. Uxa will score. Pollock going to be waved to the plate. Here comes the throw, and Pollock will come in to score. A 2 RBI double for Austin Wobrock, and your Wild Things take a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. Wobrock taking the left fielder Edison Sanchez all the way back to the track. It went over his head, allowing Uxa and Pollock to score the 10th and 11th RBIs of the year for Austin Wobrock. It's 2-0 Wild Things here in the bottom of the second, and Jamadrick Magruder coming to the plate. Magruder so far, no official at-bat, walked his first time, and in Sunday's contest against Schaumburg, Magruder ended up going 2 for 5, a triple, a single, 2 strikeouts, and a ground out. Nuremberg has his sign, the pitch, and Magruder takes this one on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Wild Things lead here over the Miners in the bottom of the second after the 2 RBI double by Austin Wobrock. The first hit of the day for your Wild Things. Nuremberg has his sign, checks Wobrock. Here's the 0-1. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Jamadrick Magruder, trying to pick up Austin Wobrock from second base and extend this Washington Wild Things lead. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks Wobrock at second, and the 1-1. And Magruder fouls this one away. The bat again slipping out of Jamadrick Magruder's hands, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The second time we've seen that happen to Magruder today, and it happened at his first at-bat. He swung at the first pitch of the at-bat, and the bat flew out of his hands towards the on-deck circle. Did almost the same thing this time, except he was able to get a piece of the ball and foul it off. So Magruder will rosin up that bat again. Hopefully he can get a better grip on it for later in this game. As we said, runner at second, 2 men out, 2-0. Your Washington Wild Things lead over the Southern Illinois Miners with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Luke Wilkins rolling on the mound so far for your Washington Wild Things, has thrown a combined 17 pitches through 2 innings. Dylan Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, the 1-2. And this one's in the dirt. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blocked back there by Riley Moore. 2-2 the count. 2 runs in the inning on the 2 RBI double by Austin Wobrock. Jamadrick Magruder at the plate. Dylan Nuremberg, the right-handed pitcher. Magruder bats left but throws from the right-hand side. Nuremberg looks into Moore, has his sign, he's set. Checks Wobrock at second, and the 2-2 pitch. And Magruder a swing and a foul ball just at the plate, so he stays alive, just getting a piece of that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Magruder fighting here in his second at-bat of the day here in the second inning of work. Saw 5 pitches before walking his first time, currently on the 6th pitch of this at-bat here with a 2-2 count. Dylan Nuremberg making sure his defenders are ready out in the field. Now looks into his catcher, Riley Moore. Nuremberg has his sign, he's set. Checks Wobrock in the 2-2. And that one's inside. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count on Jamadric Magruder. Nuremberg's already walked 3 men on the day. Walked Magruder's first time up, and then walked Logan Uxa and Kyle Pollock with 2 outs here in this second inning. 2 outs, 2-0. Your Washington Wild Things lead over the Southern Illinois Miners. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 3-2 pitch. After a check to second, here it comes. And Magruder takes this one low, ball 4. Another 2-out walk, the 4th walk of the day for Dylan Nuremberg. And now there are runners at first and second with 2 outs, and Ricky Rodriguez coming to the plate. Rodriguez so far 0 for 1, grounded out in the first inning, and in Sunday's game would end up going 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a single, a fielder's choice, and also a walk on the night. Men on first and second here with 2 outs, bottom of the second, and 2-0 your Washington Wild Things lead. Nuremberg looks into his catcher, Moore. Nuremberg has his sign, he's set. Checks second and the pitch. And Rodriguez a swing and a miss at a ball that looked below the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things all-star third baseman. As we said, went 1 for 2 as a reserve in this year's 2016 All-Star game. Nuremberg looks in. Riley Moore has his sign, he's set. Checks Wobrock at second, has his sign, the 0-1. And another swing and a miss. Rodriguez falling behind, no balls and 2 strikes. 2 runs in already in the inning on the 2 RBI double by Austin Wobrock. 4 base runners for the Wild Things in this inning, courtesy of only 1 hit, as there have been 3 walks in the inning, all with 2 outs. Nuremberg has his sign, he's set. Checks Wobrock, the 0-2. Checks his swing, but it's a called strike 3, and Rodriguez strikes out. That will end the inning. But 2 runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 2 innings of play, the score, the Washington Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the top of the third, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners nothing. Luke Wilkins back on the mound, has thrown 17 pitches through his first 2 innings of work against Southern Illinois. Now, last time out for Luke Wilkins was against Schaumburg. Got a no decision in that one, as the team ended up losing 5-4. Wilkins would go 6 in the third, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 6 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts for Wilkins. And Wilkins has been very consistent for your Wild Things, has given up 3 earned runs or less in each of his 8 starts this season. So he's been very consistent on the mound. He's only given up 4 runs once, and the 4th run was not earned in that one. It was 4 runs, 3 earned. That was back on June the 15th. Against Joliet. Other than that, 3 earned runs or less in each of his 7 starts. This was his 8th start of the season. Due up to face him here in the third, Riley Moore, Edison Sanchez, and Francisco Rosario. 7, 8, and 9, as Riley Moore currently making his way to the plate. Moore on the season is hitting .390, 3 home runs, and 8 RBIs. Moore only in his 20th game with the Southern Illinois Miners. Top of the third, 2-0 your Washington Wild Things lead over the Southern Illinois Miners. Luke Wilkins going for his 3rd inning of work, looking for another quick one here in the top of the third. He's set, here's his pitch. And Moore takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. And this is a new Luke Wilkins here in the second half. First half, he was trying to paint the corners a lot in his first 7 starts. Tonight, he's just attacked the strike zone and tried to pitch to contact. Has all his pitches working today. He's set. Here's the 0-1. And Wilkins gets this one just off the plate for a ball. The count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Riley Moore, the catcher for the Southern Illinois Miners. They had to place their starting catcher on the disabled list. Toby DeMello is the normal catcher. He's on the DL, 14-day DL, so won't see him in this series. Riley Moore will be behind the plate. The backup for Moore is Alex De Leon. That last pitch was outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike now on Riley Moore. Luke Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-1. And Moore takes this one for a strike at the knees, and the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out, top of the third from Consol Energy Park. Game 1 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Wild Things leading 2-0. Luke Wilkins looks into Kyle Pollock. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-2. And this one lined foul off to the left-hand side into the seats. The count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Moore staying alive here against Luke Wilkins. Wilkins 1 strikeout so far and no walks on the day. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Riley Moore, left-handed batter versus Luke Wilkins, the right-handed pitcher. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And Moore, a slow roller to the right side. Wilkins giving chase. He'll field it and take it to the bag himself. And that's in time for out number 1. 1 away here in the top of the third. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Edison Sanchez. Sanchez currently hitting .333, no home runs, and 1 RBI. 1 out, 2-0 Wild Things lead as Sanchez coming to the plate. Sanchez was out in left field as Wobrock hit that ball over his head onto the warning track that allowed Uxa and Pollock to score to give these Wild Things the lead. The number 8 hitter in the order for the Southern Illinois Miners. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Really the first guy Luke Wilkins has fallen behind on the day here against Edison Sanchez. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-0. And this one's taken inside for a ball. Wilkins now falling behind. 2 balls and no strikes. Can't get that corner. Wilkins early on has been using that corner effectively. He's set. Here's the 2-0. And that one's high as well. Wilkins now not finding the strike zone. 3 straight balls to start the at-bat here against Edison Sanchez as he looks to calm down and find the strike zone here against Sanchez. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 3-0. And that one is outside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk. The first base runner of the day for the Southern Illinois Miners as there's 1 out and a man on first. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Francisco Rosario. Rosario so far on the season is currently hitting .228, no home runs, and 11 RBIs. 1 out here in the top of the third. A runner on after the 4-pitch walk to, Edison Sanchez out there in left field. Sanchez currently on first, and Rosario coming to the plate. Game 1 of 3 between your Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins looks in to his catcher, Kyle Pollock. Checks first, has his sign, he's set. And the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. So 5 straight balls following that ground out by Riley Moore. Runner at first, 1 out here as Wilkins will look to settle down. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 man out. Wilkins has his sign, he's set the 1-0. And that one's high as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on Rosario out there at shortstop for the Southern Illinois Miners. Made a couple plays against the Wild Things so far in this one. Wilkins has his sign, checks Sanchez in the pitch, and that one's outside as well. 3 balls and no strikes. 7 straight balls thrown by Luke Wilkins. Retired the first 7 batters he faced, then a 4-pitch walk to Edison Sanchez, and so far down 3-0 here to Francisco Rosario. Wilkins 3-0. And that one's high, ball 4. 2 straight 4-pitch walks. Has 1 out and runners at first and second. That'll bring up the leadoff man, center fielder Aaron Gates. Gates on the day 0 for 1. And in Sunday's contest against the River City Rascals, Gates would go 2 for 5 with a strikeout in the contest. As Wobrock goes out to talk to Luke Wilkins. Wobrock coming in from the shortstop position, now returning to his position out at shortstop. Men at first and second for the Southern Illinois Miners. One man out here in the top of the third. Wilkins got a ground out and then 2 straight walks with 1 out. Has runners at first and second with Gates at the plate. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Gates takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. So suddenly, after a very efficient start to this game, Luke Wilkins having some trouble finding the plate against these last couple Southern Illinois Miners batters. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. He's set in the 1-0. And that one's a called strike on the inside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. Wilkins finally finding the plate here and gets an applause from the crowd. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the third. 2-0 your Washington Wild Things lead over the Southern Illinois Miners. Luke Wilkins looking in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, the 1-1. And this ball grounded to second. Magruder has it to second for 1 on to first. And not in time for the double play. Almost got him as Rosario took out Wobrock at second base. So they just get the 1 out at second. Fielder's choice 4-6 on the putout allows Gates to reach. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Nolan Early. Early so far, 0 for 1. Runners at first and third with 2 men out here for the Southern Illinois Miners. Wild Things lead 2-0. Early in that game on Sunday was 0 for 5 with a run scored, also struck out in that contest. 2 outs, top of the third. 2 men on for the Southern Illinois Miners, still looking for their first hit in this game as Early coming to the plate. A 1-out walk to Edison Sanchez. He stands at second. And Francisco Rosario is thrown out at second base. And Aaron Gates, who reached on the fielder's choice, over at first. 2 men out here for the Southern Illinois Miners. Battle of the first place teams here in the Frontier League as the Washington Wild Things Frontier League East leaders. The Southern Illinois Miners, the Frontier League West leaders. As time again called behind the plate by Kyle Pollock as Wilkins stepping off and now looking in. Has his sign, he's set. Checks Sanchez at third, has his sign, the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Nolan Early. Wilkins threw a combined 17 pitches in the first 2 innings, 9 pitches in the first and 8 pitches in that second inning. Currently laboring here in the third. Has his sign, the 1-0, and this ball hit over the head of Magruder, a base hit in the right center field. Sanchez comes around to score. Getting to third is Aaron Gates, and it's an RBI single for Nolan Early. That makes the score Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners 1. The RBI single, Aaron Gates getting all the way to third on the play as the Miners cut the lead in half. It's now 2-1. The Southern Illinois Miners, a very good offensive team, taking advantage when you give them an opportunity, and they took advantage of that opportunity here against Luke Wilkins. That brings Craig Massey to the plate. Massey so far 0 for 1 with a strikeout. On Sunday was 0 for 5 in the contest against River City. Wilkins has his sign, the pitch, and Massey takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Now Luke Wilkins struggling here in the third, falling behind batters, not really finding the zone in this inning. Trying to get out of this inning and get the Wild Things back to the bat racks. Wilkins has his sign, the 1-0. And that one's outside as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Runners at first and third. Aaron Gates at third. He reached on a fielder's choice. And the RBI single by Nolan Early. He stands at first base. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 men out. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, checks third. And the 2-1. Or 2-0 as that's low as well. 3 balls and no strikes. Luke Wilkins really laboring here in the third inning. Had a very good first and second inning. The second time through the lineup, Southern Illinois Miners kind of getting a good look at him. Has his sign, he's set, and the 3-0. And that one's a called strike, so 3 balls and 1 strike with Craig Massey taking all the way. 3-1, runners at first and third. Wild Things lead 2-1 over the Southern Illinois Miners here in the top of the third from Consol Energy Park. Luke Wilkins looking in, has his sign. He's setting the 3-1. And this one grounded foul off to the right-hand side. Fielded over there by the player coaching first base. And the count goes full to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Alex De Leon, the on-deck hitter, if Craig Massey should reach. Runners at first and third, 2 outs for the Southern Illinois Miners. A run in on the Nolan Early RBI single. Wilkins has his sign. He's set the 3-2. And this one hit to left field. Andrew Heck not having to move very much, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. But the Miners do get a run in the inning on just 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 2.5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 3rd, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners 1. Last inning for the Wild Things, they got their first 2 runs of the game. Jimmy Yezzo flew out to start things, then Andrew Heck grounded out. Logan Uxa and Kyle Pollock back-to-back 2-out walks before Austin Woldrock came through with a 2 RBI double, scoring both Uxa and Pollock to make it 2-0 Wild Things. Then Jamadrick Magruder would walk and Ricky Rodriguez would strike out to end the inning. Due up here in the 3rd, Chris Grayson, Dave Popkins, and Jimmy Yezzo, 3, 4, and 5, facing Dylan Nuremberg. And Nuremberg, his last time out on the mound was on July the 1st when the Miners took on the Traverse City Beach Ones. Won 7 innings in that one, gave up 1 run. It was earned on 4 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. The win would make him 3-1. So far, he's been pretty wild in this one. Has walked a total of 4 Wild Things through the first 2 innings. So we'll see if the Wild Things can continue to the success they've had against Nuremberg here in the 3rd. Due up for the Wild Things, top of the order, Jamadrick Magruder, Ricky Rodriguez, and Chris Grayson, 1, 2, and 3. Facing off against Nuremberg, as Nuremberg's done with his warm tosses, and Chris Grayson will make his way to the plate. Grayson so far 0 for 1, struck out in inning number 1. In Sunday's game, went 1 for 5 with a RBI single, reached on an error, 2 groundouts, and a strikeout in the contest against the Schaumburg Boomers. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd, 2-1. Your Washington Wild Things lead it. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Grayson takes this one in the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Chris Grayson, the number 3 hitter in this Wild Things order. Had 2 home runs for the Sioux Falls Canaries, his team before joining the Wild Things, and he hits this one to right center field and deep. Gates going back a couple steps in front of the track, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 3rd, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 1, and in that Sunday contest went 2 for 5, an RBI single, also an RBI double, and struck out 3 times in that contest. Popkins, a participant in the 2016 Home Run Derby, also went 1 for 4 in the All-Star game on Wednesday. Did hit a solo home run in that contest. Currently 2nd on the Wild Things in that category. Nuremberg setting the pitch, and Popkins fouls this one back behind the screen. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the cleanup man for your Washington Wild Things, Dave Popkins. First starter in the All-Star game since Stuart I. James and Daniel Poma back in 2014. Nuremberg has his sign, the 0-1. And Popkins a swing and a miss, and a ball in the dirt, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Dave Popkins told me earlier in the season his power game is something he really takes pride in. He doesn't like to swing at a pitch if he knows he can't do something with it. So that's why he gets into a lot of deep counts, strikes out a lot, and walks a lot. Here's the 0-2. And this one chopped towards 3rd. Charging is Marino. He has it. Throwing to 1st. And that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for your Wild Things here in the bottom of the 3rd. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo so far 0 for 1. Flew out to center field his last time up. And in Sunday's contest was the designated hitter. And went 3 for 4 in that one. A single, 2 solo shots, and a flyout in the game. 2-1. Your Washington Wild Things lead it. 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd. Yezzo coming to the plate, currently leads this Wild Things team in home runs. 2 outs, Dylan Nuremberg has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Yezzo takes this one low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Lately, we've seen Jimmy Yezzo in the designated hitter's role, tonight getting the start out at first base as Logan Uxa takes the DH role for this one. Nuremberg set the 1-0, and Yezzo fouls this one off down the left side. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Both pitchers Wilkins through 3 innings has had one struggled inning, and that was the third inning. Nuremberg struggled in the second, so far pretty efficient here in the third inning. Was also very efficient in that first inning. Has his sign, the 1-1. And Yezo to center field. Aaron Gates coming on, and he'll make the running catch for out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go your Wild Things here in the third. And after 3 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Southern Illinois Miners 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the fourth, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Southern Illinois Miners 1 here from Consol Energy Park. Luke Wilkins through the first 3 innings, very efficient in innings 1 and 2, retired the first 6 Miners he faced, only threw 17 pitches combined in those 2 innings. The last inning had to labor as he got Riley Moore to ground out on 6 pitches to start things. Then Edison Sanchez and Francisco Rosario back-to-back walks. Aaron Gates hit into a fielder's choice, so there were 2 outs, runners at first and third before Nolan Early came through with the RBI single that scored Edison Sanchez and cut the Wild Things lead to 2-1. Craig Massey would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the fourth, Alex DeLeon, Vin Galletti, and Steve Marino, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Luke Wilkins. And Kyle Pollock catching Wilkins tonight, talking to him earlier in the year. The key for Luke Wilkins is to make sure he's confident in his pitches. When Wilkins is confident, he can get anybody out in this league, says Pollock. It's just getting his confidence there as the game goes on. Alex DeLeon stepping in now to lead things off here in the top of the fourth. DeLeon so far 0 for 1 in this game, grounding out to third in his first at-bat. And on Sunday's contest was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a run scored, and a walk against River City. Luke Wilkins looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Last inning, Wilkins started to struggle as he fell behind early on in the game. Was doing a great job of getting out in front of hitters. He looks to get back to that here. The 1-0. And that one's low as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Alex DeLeon to start the inning. DeLeon, a catcher by trade, but currently the first baseman for the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins set. Here's the 2-0. And that one's outside for a ball. So Wilkins 3 straight balls to start this 4th inning as he's looking back for his confidence that he had in the first 2 innings of this one. 3 balls, no strikes. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's low, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk here to start this 4th inning. The 3rd walk of the day for Luke Wilkins. 1 strikeout. Both these pitchers rather wild. 4 walks for the starter Dylan Nuremberg for the Southern Illinois Miners through 3. And now 3 walks for Luke Wilkins through 3 innings. That brings to the plate the designated hitter, Vin Galletti. Galletti so far 0 for 1, and in Sunday's game was 0 for 5, dropping his average to 237. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's in there at the knees for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Vin Galletti. Wilkins, the leadoff walk, will look to retire him on the base pass. A double play ball would be nice here. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Galletti, a ground ball to second. Magruder to second for 1 on to first. And it gets past Jimmy Yezo. A routine double play ball thrown in the dirt by Austin Wolbrock. So they do get Alex DeLeon at second. However, Galletti reaches on the fielder's choice 4-6. And then an E6 by Austin Wolbrock, allowing Galletti to reach. That'll bring up the third baseman, Steve Marino. Marino so far in this one 0 for 1, grounded out to third in his first at-bat. On Sunday, Marino went 3 for 5 with a run scored, also an RBI on the day. And actually, they're not going to give Wolbrock an error on that one, so just a fielder's choice has Vin Galletti at first base with 1 man out. 2-1, your Wild Things lead. Steve Marino at the plate. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one in the dirt. Pollock, a nice job blocking it behind the plate, not allowing Galletti to move up. And the count goes to 0-1. No balls and a strike. here on Alex De Leon. Vingiletti looked to hit what would be a routine double play ball. However, the throw by Wobrock in the dirt, Yezzo just not able to pick it. Wilkins has his sign, the 1-0, and this one hit the left field and deep. Andrew Heck back to the track, to the wall. He leaps, and he's not going to get it. This one is gone. A 2-run home run for Steve Marino. And the Southern Illinois Miners will take the lead here in the top of the fourth. It is now 3-2. Steve Marino's 11th home run of the season, having a career year for the Southern Illinois Miners, brings in Vingiletti, and Southern Illinois Miners take the lead 3-2. That brings to the plate catcher Riley Moore. Moore, so far on today, is 0 for 1, grounded out the first last inning, and Moore in Sunday's game went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Wilkins set, here's the pitch, and Moore takes this one outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. We talked about in the pregame show, this Southern Illinois Miners team very good offensively, as they bounce back and now take the lead against the Wild Things 3-2. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes as Luke Wilkins looking to get his confidence back here against the Southern Illinois Miners. Breezed through the first 2 innings, but this second time through the lineup, the Miners starting to figure him out. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, and the 2-0 pitch. And that one's it. Just high, not in there at the letters, and the count goes to 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes here on Riley Moore, and this is a completely different Luke Wilkins than we saw to start the game. Wilkins was confident, firing his pitches in there in the first 2 innings, but these last 2 innings, 3 and 4, have really fallen apart for him. The 3-0, and that one's high, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Riley Moore. It's Wilkins' 5th walk of the day, and there's another runner on with 1 man out. Kyle Pollock making the slow stroll to the mound to talk to Luke Wilkins as he's walked 4 now on the day. All 4 walks coming in the last 2 innings. That brings up the left fielder Edison Sanchez. Sanchez so far on the day has no official at-bat, walked and scored a run his first time up. And in Sunday's game, Edison Sanchez went 1 for 5. His average sits at 3.33. 1 man out, top of the fourth. 2 runs in on the 2-run homer by Steve Marino. Southern Illinois leads this one 3-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one swung on a miss as Sanchez went outside of the zone. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 1 man out here in the top of the fourth. Runner at first as Riley Moore, a 4-pitch walk following the 2-run homer by Marino. Wilkins has his sign. He's set in the 0-1. And this one swung on a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Well, 3 earned runs given up in each of... 3 earned runs or fewer given up in each of Wilkins' first 7 starts. Giving up 3 so far here through 3 1/3. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen. Ashton Parrott is starting to loosen up out there. Luke Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks first in the 0-2. And this one grounded to third. Rodriguez handles it to second for 1. On to first. And not in time for the double play. Ground ball hit just a little too slowly. But Riley Moore retired at second. Fielder's choice. 5-4 on the putout allows Sanchez to reach. And 2 outs and a runner at first. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Francisco Rosario. Rosario, currently no official at-bat, walked his first time, and in Sunday's game, Rosario ended up going 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout against the River City Rascals. 2 outs, top of the fourth. Southern Illinois leads 3-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Rosario takes a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the number 9 hitter in this Southern Illinois order. At first base, Edison Sanchez reached there on a fielder's choice. Wilkins has his sign, the 0-1. Rosario shows bunt, pulls back, and takes one on the inside or off the inside corner for a ball. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Luke Wilkins trying to get out of this 4th inning. Has struggled in the 3rd and 4th innings of this game. Flew through the first 2 innings, but has since struggled in these last 2 innings. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And that one's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wilkins does have 1 strikeout on the day. That came back in inning number 1. Struck out Craig Massey for the final out of that first inning. 4 walks on the day since that strikeout. Wilkins looking in, has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And this one grounded towards second. Magruder charging. He has it, flips on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. However, 2 runs come in for the Southern Illinois Miners in the inning on just 1 hit. No errors and 1 man left on base. After 3.5, a score. Southern Illinois 3, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 4th, and it's Southern Illinois 3 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning for your Washington Wild Things, they went 1-2-3. Chris Grayson flew out to center to start things, and Dave Popkins grounded out, and Jimmy Yezzo flew out to end that 3rd inning. Due up here in the 4th, Andrew Heck, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock, 6, 7, and 8, facing off against Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg, a very efficient 3rd inning, only threw 8 pitches, while retiring the Wild Things 1-2-3. His only really labor-intensive inning was the 2nd inning when he threw 28 pitches, allowed 2 runs on the 2 RBI single by Austin Wobrock. Andrew Heck making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. Heck so far 0 for 1. Played in Sunday's game and went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, a line-out, and a fly-out on the day. Bottom of the 4th, Southern Illinois Miners lead this one 3-2 over your Washington Wild Things. First game back from the All-Star break. Wild Things currently 500 at home with a record of 13-13. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch, and Heck hits this one to center field. Gates a couple steps in, and quickly there's one away here in the top of the 4th. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far, no official at bat, walked and scored a run his first time up on Sunday. He went 2 for 4 in the game, 2 singles, a run scored, also two strikeouts on the day. Uxa named the Week 9 Frontier League Player of the Week. The second Wild Thing named as the Player of the Week. Trevor Foss got named the Week 3 Player of the Week earlier in the season. First pitch is in there for a strike at the letters, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Logan Uxa in that designated hitter spot tonight. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign, and the 0-1 coming to Uxa. And this ball fouled back to the screen. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Dylan Nuremberg, one of the aces of this Southern Illinois Miners staff. 3-1, a 3.10 ERA, 8 starts this season. Has been pitching very well, much better than that 3-1 record. Even though 3-1 is very good, he should be at least 6-1 on the season the way he has pitched. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Uxa at the plate. Nuremberg set. Here's the 0-2. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Logan Uxa. Uxa in that DH spot tonight. As we said, we haven't seen him in the designated hitter spot quite as much lately, as he's really taken over that first base position, as he's shown his defensive ability over there. Nuremberg set. Here's the 1-2. And Uxa takes this one for a called strike 3 on the low inside corner. And that is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the 4th. And that'll bring up the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far, no official at bat. Walked and scored a run his first time. And in Sunday's game, went 1 for 3. Singled, walked, and scored a run. Also flew out and struck out in the game against Schaumburg. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Southern Illinois leading 3-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Nuremberg has his side in the pitch. And Pollock takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things catcher. Was on the disabled list this year for a time with an AC joint injury. Came back in the middle of June. Here's the 0-1 and fouls this one off into the seats. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Pollock just getting a piece of that baseball. 0-2. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 4th. Dylan Nuremberg, the starter for the Southern Illinois Miners, still on the mound. We saw Ashton Parrott warm up last inning, but he has also since sat down for the Wild Things. The 0-2, and this one grounded into right field, a base hit. So Kyle Pollock reaches, ends a string of 6 straight Wild Things retired, and the Wild Things have a 2-out base runner, and that'll bring up their shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wolbrock so far, 1 for 1, and 2 RBI double his first time, scored both runs for the Wild Things. And in Sunday's game, he went 0 for 3, a sack bunt, also a ground out, fly out, and a strikeout on the day. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th, 3-2. Southern Illinois leads over your Washington Wild Things with Kyle Pollock at first and Austin Wolbrock at the plate. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Wolbrock takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. The last time the Wild Things got on the board, it was with 2 outs, so we'll see if they can make some more 2-out magic here in inning number 4. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, and the 1-0. And this one fouled off back to the cement behind home plate, and the count goes even at 1-1. There's that screen behind home plate and then that cement wall below the screen. Wolbrock hitting it just off the top of that cement wall. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th here from Consol Energy Park. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. I'm Zach Ziegler. Nuremberg looking in. Has his sign. He's set, checks first, and the 1-1. And Wolbrock a swing and a miss. The ball above the letters. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Austin Wolbrock, number 9 hitter in this Wild Things order. A 3-2 lead for the Southern Illinois Miners, courtesy of the Steve Marino 2-run home run. Currently 8:11 Eastern Time, 811 likes to remind you to dial 811 before you dig. Also, the 4th inning brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Visit the Chick-fil-A in Washington today. Nuremberg set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Wolbrock takes this one outside. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wolbrock driving in both Wild Things runs to this point with his 2 RBI double in the 2nd inning. Nuremberg looks in, goes through the signs with Riley Moore. Now has one he likes. He's set, and the 2-2 pitch. And that one's a called strike 3 on the high outside corner, and Wolbrock is the 3rd out of this inning. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. And after 4, the score, Southern Illinois 3, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the top of the 5th, and the score, Southern Illinois 3 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning for the Miners, they added 2 runs as Alex De Leon walked and Vin Galletti reached on a fielder's choice, erasing De Leon before Steve Marino hit his 11th home run of the season, a 2-run shot over the left field wall that gave the Southern Illinois Miners a 3-2 lead over the Wild Things. Riley Moore would walk, then Edison Sanchez hit into a fielder's choice, and Francisco Rosario would ground out to end the inning. Due up here in the 5th, 1-2-3, Aaron Gates, Nolan Early, and Craig Massey facing off against Luke Wilkins here at Consol Energy Park. The Wild Things are offering a Flex Plan promotion this season. Get a 12-ticket plan for the price of a 10-ticket plan. Flex plans are great for people who have hectic schedules and can't take advantage of a typical season ticket package because they're not sure which games they can attend. A Flex Plan gets you ticket vouchers at a reduced cost, and you can redeem them whenever it's convenient for you. Call the box office today at 866-456-WILD for more information. Stepping in the lead off the top of the 5th, Aaron Gates. Gates so far 0 for 2. Grounded out in the 1st and reached on a fielder's choice his last time in inning number 3. 3-2, the Southern Illinois Miners lead over the Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looking in, ready for this 5th inning. A wild 3rd inning, through 25 in the 3rd and through 19 pitches in the 4th inning compared to just 17 pitches in the first 2 innings combined. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. And that's what you want to see from Wilkins. Last 2 innings, falling behind a lot of batters and getting into sticky situations. He's set. Here's the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt off the knee of Kyle Pollock. Looks like it got under his knee pad as he's going to walk that knee off a little bit. Home plate umpire Mark Schmidt will give him some time as he goes out to Wilkins to give him the ball and goes to talk to him for a second while Kyle Pollock recovers. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Aaron Gates, as that one did hit off the knee of Pollock. Pollock's okay, though. Hit off the knee of Pollock and bounced towards that Washington Wild Things dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike here on the batter, Aaron Gates. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Gates takes this one in the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count to the Southern Illinois Miners center fielder. You'd love to see a very quick inning here from Luke Wilkins after struggling in the 3rd and the 4th. Wilkins set, here's the 1-2, and this ball hit the center field. Chris Grayson going back a couple steps in front of the track, and he'll backpedal and make the catch for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the 5th, and that brings in the right fielder, Nolan Early. Early so far, 1 for 2, flew out in the 1st, and an RBI single in the 3rd, drove in the first run of the game for the Southern Illinois Miners. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. First meeting between these two teams, the Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. The Wild Things will actually see these Miners next weekend, July 22nd through the 24th. They'll be in Southern Illinois to take on these Miners, and then that's the last meeting between these two teams for the season unless they meet in the playoffs. Here's the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Nolan Early. We talked about it. The Wild Things are currently tied with the Joliet Slammers for first place in the Frontier League East, as the 1-0 as that one's high for a ball, and Wilkins falls behind. 2 balls, no strikes. They're tied with the Joliet Slammers, and right now that game in Joliet is not started between the Florence Freedom and the Joliet Slammers as of yet. Wilkins set, here's the 2-0, and this one's fouled off into the seats. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Nolan Early, the number 2 hitter in this Southern Illinois Miners order. Aaron Gates flew out to start this inning as Wilkins looking for a bounce-back inning here in the 5th. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, and the 2-1. And this ball hit to right center field. Chris Grayson a couple steps over, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. So 2 flyouts to start this 5th inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Craig Massey. Massey so far 0 for 2, struck out looking in the 1st and flew out in inning number 3. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. 3-2 Southern Illinois leads over your Washington Wild Things in Game 1 of this 3-game series. Right-hander Luke Wilkins on the mound for your Wild Things, facing the left-handed batter, Craig Massey. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Massey takes this one for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Southern Illinois Miners second baseman. Luke Wilkins looks into Kyle Pollock. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And this one fouled off into the seats. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Southern Illinois right fielder, or second baseman, excuse me. The number 3 hitter in this Southern Illinois order. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, and the 0-2 on the way. And this ball jacked to right field. Dave Popkins going back to the wall, and this ball is gone. A solo home run for Craig Massey, and the Southern Illinois Miners extend their lead. It's now 4-2 Miners over the Washington Wild Things. For Craig Massey, that is home run number 5 on the season. It's now 4-2 Southern Illinois. Massey comes in to score, and that'll bring to the plate first baseman Alex DeLeon. DeLeon so far 0 for 1, grounded out in the second and walked in inning number 4. 2 outs, a solo home run there by Craig Massey. Is the first time now that Luke Wilkins has given up 4 earned runs in a ball game here in 2016. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And a check swing, but he did go around, says Mark Schmidt, and the count's no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count, a run in on the solo home run by Craig Massey. Massey's 5th home run of the year, as the Miners now lead 4-2 over your Wild Things. Luke Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And check swing, and again he went around, says Mark Schmidt, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th, 4-2. The Southern Illinois Miners lead over your Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looks in, shakes off the first sign, now has one he likes, he's set, and the 0-2. And that one's low for a ball, as this time De Leon leaves the bat on his shoulders, and the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 2 men out, top of the 5th. 4 runs on 3 hits for the Miners, 2 runs, 2 hits for your Wild Things. The 1-2, and that one's in the dirt as they can't get De Leon to chase, and the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. That home run by Craig Massey crushed to right field. Dave Popkins tried to give it a chance, but would watch it sail over that big scoreboard out here in right field at Consol Energy Park. As time is called, Wilkins wants to go through the signs once more. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here on Alex De Leon, the cleanup man for the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins looking in, has his sign, and the 2-2. And this ball hit towards center field. Chris Grayson will wait on it, and he will make the catch for out number 3. However, a run does come in the inning on the solo home run. No errors and nobody left on base. After 4.5, the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 5th. And the score, the Southern Illinois Miners 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning for the Wild Things, Andrew Heck flew out to start things, then Logan Uxa struck out looking, Kyle Pollock singled, and Austin Wodrock struck out looking to end the inning. Due up here in the 5th for the Wild Things, Jamadrick Magruder, Ricky Rodriguez, and Chris Grayson. 1, 2, and 3. Facing Dylan Nuremberg. And Nuremberg, ever since that second inning, has really calmed down. 8 pitches in a 1-2-3 third and 13 pitches in a 1-2-3 fourth inning, really settling down against the Wild Things since that rough second inning where he allowed the 2 runs. The top of the order will look to get something started against Nuremberg as Jamadrick Magruder stepping in to lead things off. Magruder still no official at-bat for your Wild Things as he has walked twice today, once on a 3-1 count and once on a 3-ball and 2-strike count. Bottom of the 5th, 4-2, the Southern Illinois Miners lead here from Consol Energy Park. Wild Things actually worse here at Consol Energy than they are on the road. They're 13-13 here at Consol Energy Park, while on the road they sit at 14-9. Here's the pitch, and that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here on Magruder. Magruder playing, in his 3rd game as a Washington Wild Thing, hitting .500, 4 for 8 to start his career. The 1-0, and Magruder into right field, and just foul. It was over the head of first baseman Alex De Leon, and it landed just to the right side of that right field foul line, so Magruder will have to do it again. 1 ball, 1 strike. If that one gets down with Magruder's speed, that could have been trouble for the Southern Illinois Miners. And it actually chipped Magruder's bat, so Magruder will have to go and get a new one here as a piece of the bat flying off after that foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Jamadrick Magruder. Bottom of the 5th, 4-2 Southern Illinois lead. Southern Illinois adding an insurance run on the solo home run by second baseman Craig Massey as Magruder rosining up the bat. He's dropped the bat twice today on swings, so really making sure he gets rosin on this new bat before he steps in. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Magruder came to the Wild Things from the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, where he hit .241 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And that one's high to Magruder, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Magruder played also 3 seasons in minor league baseball, playing 1 season in the American Association, now here in the Frontier League. Here's the 2-1. And that one swung on a miss, and again, the bat flies out of Jamadrick Magruder's hands. So Magruder having trouble holding on to the bat tonight. Gets a laugh out of it as the count's even at 2-2, shaking his head at himself as he'll step back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Magruder trying to get on to start things. Dylan Nuremberg on the mound, the starter for the Southern Illinois Miners. Ashton Parrott was up in the Wild Things bullpen. Currently no action out there, and players starting to stretch in the Southern Illinois bullpen. Here's the 2-2, and Magruder takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner, so he'll strike out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. That'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the first and struck out in inning number 2. Now up here in the 5th. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads over your Washington Wild Things. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things third baseman, a reserve on this year's 2016 All-Star game in Florence, Kentucky. Nuremberg set. Here's the 1-0. And Rodriguez to left field and deep. However, it's hooking and will go foul. And the count will go to 1 ball and 1 strike. If Rodriguez keeps that one fair, it's easily a solo home run, but unfortunately hooks foul, and he'll have to do it again, just a long strike 1. As Dylan Nuremberg doesn't like the ball he had, so he'll throw it back in, and he'll get a new one here against Rodriguez. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads over your Wild Things. Nuremberg has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Rodriguez hits this one to right field, giving chase on it, and not making the catch as he slides is the right fielder Nolan Early. Landed behind the Wild Things bullpen. Early couldn't get there. A sliding attempt, but could not make the catch. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. Nolan Early giving chase out there in right field as he just could not get to it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Crowd getting loud here at Consol Energy Park, trying to rally their Wild Things. Wild Things just 2 hits on the day. However, Southern Illinois just has 3 hits, but they have a 2-run lead. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-2. And Rodriguez a swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt, and that will be out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for your Wild Things here in the bottom of the 5th, and that brings in the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 0 for 2, struck out in the first and flew out in inning number 3. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Southern Illinois currently leads this one 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Grayson out there in center field. He came to the Wild Things starting in his 6th game. He came to the Wild Things from the Sioux Falls Canaries, where he had 229, 2 homers, and 9 RBIs for Sioux Falls, standing in there at 6'0", 215 from Monroe, Los Angeles. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Grayson takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Grayson out there in center field for your Wild Things. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads. And here's Nuremberg's 1-0. And that one's a called strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Chris Grayson. Top of the order so far, 2 up, 2 down. Grayson looking to get some 2-out magic going for your Wild Things. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Grayson takes this one low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Both runs for the Wild Things today have been scored with 2 outs, as Austin Wobrock driving in both those runs with a 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 2nd. Nuremberg's 2-1, and Grayson takes this one low for a ball. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Nuremberg has walked 4 batters on the day so far. Walked 3 in the 2nd, walked 1 in the 1st. He looks in, has his sign, and the 3-1. And Grayson grounds this one foul off to the right. Count will go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dave Popkins, the on-deck batter, if Chris Grayson should reach here with 2 outs. And 3 of Nuremberg's 4 walks on the day have come with 2 outs. All 3 walks in the 2nd came with 2 outs. The leadoff walk to Jamadrick Magruder in the 1st was his 4th walk of the day. Nuremberg looks in, has his sign. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And Grayson a ground ball at the middle, and that'll be a base hit. After a battle, Grayson reaches on a 2-out single, took a big turn at first, and the throw-in will hold him at first as he wisely goes back. There's 2 outs and a runner at first, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 2, popped out in the 1st and grounded out in the 3rd inning. Stepping up here in the bottom of the 5th with the Wild Things down by 2, 4-2 the score here from Consol Energy Park between the Washington Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Nuremberg looking into Riley Moore. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. Checks Grayson at first. And the pitch. And Popkins takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Wild Things looking for some more two-out magic. Down by 2 here against the Southern Illinois Miners in the bottom of the 5th. Dylan Nuremberg looks in. Dave Popkins, a participant in this year's Home Run Derby. Also a starter in the All-Star game where he went 1 for 4 in the outfield. His one hit, a big one, however, as it was a solo home run that got the East on the board early. 1 ball, no strikes. The West Division winning that All-Star game by a score of 11-4. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, and the 1-0. Throw over to first, and Chris Grayson back in there. Grayson, 3 stolen bases in 5 games for the Wild Things so far. His first time on base today, currently tied with Dave Popkins for 3rd on the team in the stolen base category. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set, checks first, and the 1-0. After a long look over there, here it comes. And Popkins to right field. Going over is early, and it'll make the catch as it was hit very hard, but unfortunately right at the right fielder for out number 3. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. And after 5, the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 6th, and the score, the Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning, the Miners would add insurance as Aaron Gates and Nolan Early each flew out to center field to start the inning. Then Craig Massey, a solo home run, his 5th home run of the season, gave the Miners this 4-2 lead. Alex De Leon would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, Vin Galletti, Steve Marino, and Riley Moore facing off against Luke Wilkins. 5, 6, and 7 here in inning number 6 with the Wild Things down by 2. Galletti making his way to the plate. Galletti so far in this one 0 for 2, grounded out to first in the 2nd inning and reached on a fielder's choice and would score a run in inning number 4. Nobody out top of the 6th. 4 runs, 3 hits for the Miners, 2 runs, 3 hits for your Wild Things. Wilkins set, here's the pitch. And this one fouled off the mask of Kyle Pollock as it looks to be a little shaken up as he's sitting on his knees. But should be okay. No balls and a strike to count on Galletti. That ball got Pollock right on the top of the head, luckily wearing the hard hat there behind the plate as he wears the flip-over mask with the hard hat underneath. Wilkins looking in, has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And that one's way outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Vin Galletti, the designated hitter for the Southern Illinois Miners. Wild Things saw him earlier in the year as he was a member of the Gateway Grizzlies to start the season. The 1-1, and Galletti fouls this one off into the seats. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Vin Galletti. Right-handed pitcher Luke Wilkins facing the left-handed batter Vin Galletti. In the 4th inning, we saw Ashton Parrott warming up in the Wild Things bullpen. He has since sat down. Parrott signed last week before the Joliet series. Here's the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one grounded to second. Magruder will handle it. Throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 4-3 on the put-up. 1 out, 1 down here in the 6th. And that'll bring in the third baseman, Steve Marino. Marino so far 1 for 2. Hit his 11th homer of the season, a 2-run shot in the 4th, and grounded out in inning number 2. So far for Wilkins, 5 1/3, has given up 4 runs, all earned on 3 hits, while walking 4 and striking out 1. He's thrown 77 pitches coming into this inning. 4 pitches there puts him at 81. Here's the pitch, and that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Marino. So if Wilkins can get through this 6th inning rather efficiently, he could have 1 more inning of work in him. The 1-0, and that one's high for a ball as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the third baseman, Steve Marino, the captain of this Southern Illinois Miners team. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 2-ball, no-strike pitch. And Marino to left field. Andrew Heck a couple steps back, not having to move very far, makes the catch, and that is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 6th, and that'll bring up the catcher, Riley Moore. Moore so far 0 for 1, grounded out to the pitcher in the 3rd inning and walked in inning number 4. 2 outs, top of the 6th. Southern Illinois leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of 3 here from Consol Energy Park. Luke Wilkins looking into Kyle Pollock. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Riley Moore. Moore behind the plate because the primary catcher for the Southern Illinois Miners, Toby DeMello, is on the disabled list. Luke Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-0. And that one's out inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Wilkins falling behind Riley Moore here. Was it 2-0 before he got Steve Marino to fly out his last batter. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Luke Wilkins looking in. Has his sign. He's set in the 2-0. And that one's in there for a strike. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike as Luke Wilkins jumping in the zone here against Riley Moore. Talking to Jason Garrett, the announcer for the Southern Illinois Miners. DeMello, the better defensive catcher between the two, but Riley Moore still very good behind the plate. 2 ball, 1 strike pitch, and that one's in there at the knees. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out, top of the 6th. Wild Things down by 2 here. 4-2, Southern Illinois leads this one. Luke Wilkins looks into Kyle Pollock. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-2 offering. And that one's inside, blocked in the dirt by Pollock. Count goes full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Edison Sanchez would be next if Riley Moore can reach base. Luke Wilkins on the mound looking to get through 6 here. First time he's given up 4 runs in a game, 4 earned runs in the game, excuse me. He did give up 4 runs one other time. It was 4 runs, 3 earned in that outing. First time giving up more than 3 earned runs in a game tonight. The 3-2, and this ball popped up to the left side, and it'll go into the seats foul. So the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count here on Riley Moore behind the plate for the Southern Illinois Miners. Now the primary catcher with DeMello on the disabled list. Luke Wilkins looking in to Kyle Pollock. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 3-2. And this ball fouled off as well. So a battle brewing here between Luke Wilkins and Riley Moore. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. Wild Things defense playing pretty much straight up as Wolbrock out in shallow left field a little bit, but still at that shortstop position. Everyone else where they normally would be. Wilkins has his sign, the 3-2. And this ball grounded foul off to the right past the first base coaching box. And the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count here on Riley Moore. Moore behind the plate has the highest average on the team, hitting .390, playing in game number 20 of the year, has 3 homers and 8 RBIs. So leads his team in batting average. Stepping in now. Wilkins set. Here's the 3-2. And this ball fouled off as well. So 9 pitches so far in the at-bat. A full count as Luke Wilkins will have to come back again. The 10th pitch of the at-bat coming. A very good at-bat here for Riley Moore, making Wilkins work. As Wilkins trying to get through this 6th inning. Has gone 5 innings through 77 pitches through those first 5 innings. Wilkins has his sign, the 3-2. And that one is finally swung on and missed. And the inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Southern Illinois Miners here in the 6th. And after 5.5, the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 6th. And the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning for the Wild Things, Jamadrick Magruder and Ricky Rodriguez struck out to begin things. Then Chris Grayson singled and Dave Popkins flew out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, Jimmy Yezzo, Andrew Heck, and Logan Uxa, 5, 6, and 7, facing off against Dylan Nuremberg. And Nuremberg to this point has given up just the 2 runs. Both runs are earned against Nuremberg. On 3 hits, he has walked, 5 men on the day. Actually, no, he's walked 4, on the day, while striking out 5 on the contest. So far, so good for Dylan Nuremberg. Had that rough second inning, but other than that, very good. 5 innings of work, as we said, 2 runs all earned on 3 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts on the day. He has thrown a total of 79 pitches through 5 innings of work. So pitch count, not really a problem for him either. 77 for Wilkins through 5, 79 for Nuremberg through 5. So both pitchers really at the same level in terms of pitch count. Jimmy Yezzo going to come to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th to lead things off. The team leader in home runs with 8 home runs on the season. Today, Yezzo so far 0 for 2 has flown out to center field in both at-bats tonight against the Southern Illinois Miners. Yezzo hit 2 home runs in Sunday's contest to put him in the team lead for home runs with 8. On the team leader for the Southern Illinois Miners, Steve Marino. Marino has 11 on the year. Their second place man with 8 is Alex De Leon. Nuremberg set the pitch to Yezzo, and Yezzo takes this one low and outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Yezzo. Yezzo and the Wild Things looking to get to Nuremberg here in the bottom of the 6th, trailing by 2. They've been trailing since the 4th inning, a 2-run homer by Steve Marino. Here's the 1-0. And Yezzo, a ground ball to second, handled over there by Massey. Massey throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 2 pitches and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. That'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the 2nd and flew out in inning number 4. 1 out, bottom of the 6th, 4 runs, 3 hits for the Miners, 2 runs, 3 hits for your Washington Wild Things. As Andrew Heck steps in. Heck, a local guy, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native in his 4th season with Washington Wild Things. Looks to get on base here with 1 out. The pitch, and Heck takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things left fielder. The 2 runs today, courtesy of a 2-out, 2 RBI single by Austin Walbrock in the bottom of the 2nd. Nuremberg set. Here's the 0-1, and Andrew Heck takes this one outside. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Wild Things left fielder. Still looking for his first home run of the season. No homers and 9 RBIs for Andrew Heck coming into this one. Here's the 1-1, and Heck takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Andrew Heck. Hit .299 a season ago. Came into today hitting .258 so far. Nuremberg set. Here's the 1-2. And Heck takes this one low. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nuremberg mixing in those breaking balls here in the 6th inning. Not getting the chases from the Wild Things so far. Nuremberg set. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Heck to left field, and it's over the head of Rosario into left field for a base hit. Heck takes a big turnaround first, but will stop there as a good field by Sanchez cuts it off before it gets to the gap and gets Andrew Heck on with a single and 1 out. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Logan Uxa. Uxa on the day so far 0 for 1, struck out in the 4th and walked and scored a run in inning number 2. Uxa represents the tying run here in the bottom of the 6th. Southern Illinois leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Runner at first is Andrew Heck, the single into left field. Uxa at the plate. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the pitch. And Logan Uxa takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Runner at first, 1 out. Andrew Heck getting the 1-out single. Here to start the bottom of the 6th on base for the Wild Things. Dylan Nuremberg, the right-handed pitcher, facing Logan Uxa, the left-handed batter. Nuremberg has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And Uxa takes this one high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Uxa, as we said, named the Week 9 Frontier League Player of the Week. Hit .556 last week with 2 homers, a triple, 6 RBIs. on the week, so a very good week for him. Raised his average to 316, currently leads the Wild Things in that category. Here's the 2-0, and Uxa takes this one outside. 3 balls and no strikes, and that prompts action in the Southern Illinois bullpen. Kyle Tinius warming up out there for the Miners. Nuremberg has his sign, checks Heck at first, and the 3-0 to Uxa. And that one's a called strike on the inside corner. Count goes to 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 the count on the Wild Things designated hitter, Logan Uxa. 3 home runs on the season, 9 RBIs. Currently that 316 average, good to lead the team. Nuremberg set, and the 3-1. And Uxa pops this one up back behind the seats. Looking at it is Moore, but he'll watch it go into the stands foul. Count goes full to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes here on Logan Uxa. The on-deck man for your Wild Things is Kyle Pollock. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Uxa at the plate. Uxa, the number 7 man in this Wild Things order. Runner at first is Andrew Heck. He singled with 1 man out. Standing on first, currently second on the team with 4 stolen bases. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the 3-2. Heck taking off for second. Pitch grounded to first. Handled over there by De Leon. He'll take it to the bag himself for out number 2. Luckily, Heck moving on that pitcher. That would have been a double play ball. Heck in at second with 2 men out. And that'll bring up the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far 1 for 1. Walked and scored a run in the second. And singled with 2 men out in inning number 4. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads over your Washington Wild Things. Andrew Heck at second. He singled with 1 out in this inning, then moved up on the ground out by Logan Uxa. The runner at second, 2 men out. Wild Things looking to get on the board here in the 6th. Haven't scored since that 2 RBI single by Austin Wobrock in inning number 2. Dylan Nuremberg looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the pitch. And Pollock takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Andrew Heck in scoring position for the Wild Things. Heck does have speed, so if Pollock can get one up the middle, a very good chance of making this a 1-run ball game. Nuremberg looks in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks Heck at second and the 1-0. And Pollock takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Wild Things catcher, Kyle Pollock. Started on opening day, then went on the disabled list for your Wild Things, and has since come back and been the primary catcher. Dylan Nuremberg looks in to Riley Moore, has his sign, he's set. Checks second and the 1-1. And that one's high, ball 2. Andrew Heck faked like he was going to third, but then went back to the bag at second. We've seen Heck do that a lot this year. He'll start for the steal and then throw on the brakes when he thinks he can't make it, and right there he decided it was a good decision to hold up on the play. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Nuremberg looking in. And time is called behind the plate. Riley Moore wanted time to go through the signs once more. Pollock digs back in. 2 balls and a strike, 2 men out. Nuremberg has his sign. He's set. And the 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Pollock to left field. Going over is Sanchez, and he'll make the running catch for out number 3. No runs in the inning on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 6, the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Like Henderson Brothers, keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness. The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 7th, and the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Last inning, a very clean one for Luke Wilkins as he got them 1-2-3, got Vin Galletti to ground out, then Steve Marino flew out, and Riley Moore struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the 7th, Edison Sanchez, Francisco Rosario, and Aaron Gates, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Luke Wilkins. Now, Wilkins did have to throw 10 pitches in the final at-bat of last inning against Riley Moore. Drove his pitch count up to 94 pitches on the day. So this could be his last inning of work through 100 pitches, his last time on the mound. And for Luke Wilkins, in his career against Southern Illinois, he's only faced them once, and that was on June 17th of last season. He ended up picking up the loss, went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 7 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts in that contest. So far today, has gone 6, giving up 2 runs, 2 earned on 4 hits, while, walking 4 and striking out 1 on the day. So very similar numbers to his last time out against Southern Illinois. As a look to get through 7 innings here, Edison Sanchez will be the first man he faced. Sanchez so far on the day, 0 for 1, walked and scored a run in the 3rd and hit a fielder's choice in the 4th. 5-4 on that fielder's choice put out as he reached base in the 4th inning. Now batting here in inning number 7. Action continues in that Southern Illinois Miners bullpen as Tinius sat down, and now warming up will be, looks like Zach Cooper. Here's the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. It is Cooper warming out there in the bullpen for Southern Illinois. No balls and a strike here on Edison Sanchez. Made that catch to end the bottom of the 6th for the Wild Things. The 0-1, and that's at the knees for a strike, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out here in the top of the 7th as Brian O'Keefe throwing in the Wild Things bullpen. Here's the 0-2, and that one's in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Wilkins couldn't get Sanchez to chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and nobody out here in the top of the 7th. Game 1 of 3 between your Wild Things and the Southern Illinois Miners. Miners leading this one 4-2 over your Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looking in. Wilkins has his sign. He's set in the 1-2 pitch. And this ball grounded towards short. Austin Wobrock ranging to his right, making the play. A jumping throw, and a very nice play by Austin Wobrock. Had to range a long way to his right, but is able to get the out. Jumps, throws it over to first, and it was a strike to Jimmy Yezzo. That'll bring up the shortstop, Francisco Rosario. Rosario so far 0 for 1. Walked in the 3rd and grounded out in inning number 4. 1 out, top of the 7th. Southern Illinois leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Rosario showing bunt, pulls back and takes a strike at the letters. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Number 9 hitter in the Southern Illinois Miners bullpen. Ricky Rodriguez charging on that one. Also Jamadrick Magruder charging in towards the grass. Wilkins set. Here's the 0-1. And that one's way inside. Almost gets Rosario. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. That was the 100th pitch on the day for Luke Wilkins here in the 7th inning. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And this ball fouled back to the screen. Count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. First time Luke Wilkins has gone over 100 pitches this season. Now at 101 against the Southern Illinois Miners. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-2. And this ball popped up to short. Austin Wobrock going out to shallow left, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 7th, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Aaron Gates. Gates so far 0 for 3, grounded out in the 1st, hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd, and flew out in inning number 5. Top of the 7th here at Consol Energy Park. 4-2, the Southern Illinois Miners lead over your Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of a 3-game series. 4 runs, 3 hits for the Miners. 2 runs, 4 hits for your Wild Things. Luke Wilkins set. Here's the pitch. And this one hit foul off to the left and back into the seats. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Aaron Gates. Gates out in center field for the Miners today. The everyday center fielder for the Southern Illinois Miners. Gates standing at 6'1", 185 from Villa Park, California. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Gates grounds it right back to the mound. Luke Wilkins will handle himself, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Miners here in the 7th. And after 6.5 the score, your Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network. Right now, going to take you down to the field for the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 7th, and the score, the Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Pitching change for the Southern Illinois Miners as now coming on as right-hander Zach Cooper. Cooper enters this one with a record of 0-1, 2 saves on the year, a 10.80 ERA, appearing in his 8th game. Has thrown 5 innings, giving up 6 runs, all earned on 7 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 6 walks for Cooper. The first man he'll face in this one is Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far is currently 1 for 2, a 2 RBI double in the second, and a strikeout in inning number 4. Cooper set, here's the pitch, and Wobrock to center field. Aaron Gates going over, and he'll make the catch in front of the track. Wobrock hitting that ball hard, but unfortunately right at Aaron Gates in center field, and there's one out in the bottom of the 7th. That'll bring up the second baseman, Jamadric Magruder. Magruder so far 0 for 1, walked twice in this game, and also struck out looking to this point. The final line on the starter, Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts through 96 pitches in the contest. Cooper looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And Magruder takes this one low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Jamadric Magruder out there at second base for the Wild Things. His 3rd game as a Washington Wild Thing. As Cooper has his sign, he's set in the 1-0. And that one swung on a miss. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Count even on Jamadric Magruder out at second base for the Wild Things from the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, where he hit .241, 5 homers and 20 RBIs. Cooper has his sign, he's set in the 1-1. And that one's inside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Jamadric Magruder out there at second base. 1 out here in the bottom of inning number 7. Cooper has his sign and the 2-1. And that one swung on a miss. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on Magruder. Magruder, the left-handed batter, throws from the right-hand side, but bats left-handed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Magruder standing in there from Mesquite, Texas. Here's the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch, and this one fouled off into the stands. Count remains 2-2. Magruder staying alive. In his first 3 at-bats, Magruder has lost the bat, and each one of those at-bats flying out of his hand. So far, so good. Stayed in his hands so far here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cooper looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 2-2 pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count full here on Jamadric Magruder. 1 out here on the bottom of the 7th. Ricky Rodriguez, the on-deck man for your Wild Things. Cooper has his sign. He's set in the 3-2. And Magruder to right field down the line. It's hooking and will go foul. Magruder inches away from his first Wild Things home run. Unfortunately, just a long foul ball, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count here on Jamadric Magruder. Magruder been in that leadoff spot in all 3 games he's played for the Wild Things. And time is called behind the plate. Riley Moore called time. Cooper was ready, but Moore was not. Full count here on Jamadric Magruder, the leadoff man for the Wild Things. Cooper has his sign, the 3-2. And Magruder takes high, ball 4. A full count walk to Jamadric Magruder. Magruder's 3rd walk of the day as he's on first. And that'll bring up the 3rd baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 3. Has grounded out in the first, struck out in the second, and struck out in inning number 5. Now up here in the 7th. One out, runner at first for the Wild Things. That's Jamadrick Magruder. Magruder does have speed, so we'll see if he can use that speed for his first Wild Things stolen base. Cooper has his sign. He's setting the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez represents the tying run for the Washington Wild Things. Brian O'Keefe out there in the bullpen as the Wild Things trying to get Luke Wilkins off the hook. Throw over to first, and Jamadrick Magruder back in there. Zach Cooper, a very quick move over there to first base as Magruder had to dive back and just did get in ahead of the tag of De Leon at first. Cooper has his sign. He's set. And the 1-0 coming to Rodriguez. And Rodriguez fouls this one off into the stands. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Sun setting here over Consol Energy Park. A beautiful pink sky off to the right-hand side behind the bleachers here at Consol Energy Park. We had some rain very early in the day. About 4:30, a big rainstorm blew in. Forced the Southern Illinois Miners off the field because of that rainstorm, but we did get started on time. The 1-1, Rodriguez checks his swing and takes that one high for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. For Zach Cooper, he has walked 6 men in 5 innings of work, so not very efficient on the mound. That 10.80 ERA, a result of that wildness. Cooper set, and the 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one high, 3 balls and a strike. So after getting Austin Wobrock to fly out on just 1 pitch, a 3 ball, 2 strike count walk to Jamadrick Magruder. An 8-pitch at bat for Magruder. And now 3-1 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. Cooper looks in, has his sign, he's set. And the 3 ball, 1 strike pitch. And a swing and a miss by Rodriguez. Count goes full 3-2. More action out there in the Southern Illinois bullpen as warming up is Chris DeBoo, the right-hander. Cooper looking in to Riley Moore. Cooper has his sign. He's set. And the 3 ball, 2 strike pitch. And Rodriguez a ground ball, base hit in the left field. Magruder takes a turn at second, but will go back. So there are runners at first and second with 1 man out following the single by Ricky Rodriguez. And now the Wild Things in business. In the bottom of the 7th, just 1 out. Chris Grayson coming to the plate. Grayson so far 1 for 3. Struck out in the first, flew out in the second, and singled in inning number 5. Wild Things trying to make a comeback here, down by 2. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Miners. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for your Washington Wild Things. And out to the mound comes the pitching coach for Southern Illinois for another mound visit. Actually, no, that is manager Mike Pinto coming out to the mound. Jamadrick Magruder going to talk to Greg Langman over at third. Pinto going to pump up his pitcher here. Needs an out against these Washington Wild Things. 1 out, runners at first and second. And looking at Pinto's career, he's entering his 10th season as the manager of the Miners and has led them to a record of 547 and 366 since his inaugural season in 2007. His team's .595 winning percentage is good for first in league history for teams that have lasted more than 1 season, with Pinto being the winningest manager in that time frame. The Miners have posted a winning record in each of Pinto's first 9 seasons and have made the playoffs in 6 of those 9 seasons under Pinto's management. Pinto's mound meeting's done. He's making his way back to the Southern Illinois Miners dugout. And runners at first and second, 1 out with Chris Grayson coming to the plate. Grayson on the day, as we said, 1 for 3. Currently in his short career with the Wild Things, 3 RBIs, 273 average. Playing in his 6th game tonight. That could come through big here. Good speed on the base paths. Magruder at second, very good speed. And Ricky Rodriguez, decent speed at first base. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Cooper has his sign. He's set. The pitch to Grayson. And Grayson fouls his first pitch off into the stands. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the number 3 hitter in this Wild Things order. Big situation. As the Wild Things looking to get back in this game. Currently down by 2. It's 4-2 Southern Illinois. Cooper looking in. The starter in this one, Dylan Nuremberg, going 6 innings, just giving up the 2 runs. Cooper in trouble here out of the bullpen. Cooper has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1 coming to Grayson. Grayson takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on Chris Grayson. Grayson on the season hasn't been much of a free swinger. Does have only 2 strikeouts in his first 5 games as a Wild Thing. Cooper has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2. And this one in the dirt gets away from the catcher, Riley Moore. That'll move both runners up. So now there are two in scoring position for your Wild Things with just one man out. Rodriguez to second, Magruder to third. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Grayson. And now a big opportunity for Grayson to tie this game and get Luke Wilkins off the hook. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out on the wild pitch by Zach Cooper. There are now runners at second and third with 1 man away. Cooper looking into Riley Moore. Shakes off the first sign. Now has one he likes. He's set. And the pitch coming to Grayson. And a swing and a miss at the ball in the dirt. And the throw down to first will complete the strikeout. A strikeout and a 2-3 put out. Jamadrick Magruder could not move up on the play, so there are runners at second and third now with 2 outs, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 3, popped out in the first, grounded out in the third, and flew out in inning number 5. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, 2 men on. Jamadrick Magruder standing at third, he walked with 1 out, and then Ricky Rodriguez single, he stands at second. Both moved up on the wild pitch during the Grayson at-bat. Cooper looking in, has his sign, he's set. And the pitch coming to Popkins. And Popkins takes this one inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count to the Wild Things right fielder. Chris DeBoo is ready out there in the Southern Illinois bullpen if he's needed. Brian O'Keefe also ready in the Wild Things bullpen. He will more than likely come in to pitch. Cooper looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 1-0. And Popkins takes this one outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on Dave Popkins, 1 of 4 Wild Things All-Stars, himself, Ricky Rodriguez, Zach Groats, and Trevor Foss, all making the All-Star team for your Wild Things. Runners at second and third, 2 outs, Magruder at third, and Rodriguez at second, and now they're going to intentionally walk Dave Popkins after throwing 2 straight pitches out of the zone, did not get Popkins to chase, so Moore stands up, and it'll be an intentional walk. And now Cooper's set, and he'll throw the fourth wild one. As that one's outside, and the bases are full of Wild Things here with 2 outs. An intentional walk to Dave Popkins as the bases are full for Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo so far 0 for 3. Flew out in the second, flew out in the third, and grounded out in inning number 6. But manager Mike Pinto coming to the mound, and we're going to have a pitching change. So we're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Your current score, Southern Illinois Miners 4, Washington Wild Things 2.
It's gonna go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the 7th, bases are full of Wild Things with 2 men out. Jimmy Yezzo coming to the plate and a pitching change for the Southern Illinois Miners as Chris DeBoo comes on to work here in the 7th. DeBoo enters with no record, 3 saves on the year, a 1.68 ERA, appearing in his 17th game. He's thrown 16 innings of work, giving up 3 runs, all earned on 15 hits, 11 strikeouts, and 5 walks on the year for the right-hander. Right now, bases full, Wild Things. 1 out, Jamadrick Magruder walked. Then Ricky Rodriguez singled. Both would move up on a wild pitch before Chris Grayson struck out. And then Dave Popkins, an intentional walk. He's at first, and that'll bring Jimmy Yezzo to the plate. Yezzo, team leader in RBIs with 26 on the year Looking to come through here with the bases full of Wild Things. Tying run, standing at second. Go-ahead run, standing at first with 2 men out. DeBoo on the mound, facing off against Jimmy Yezzo. DeBoo has his sign, the pitch. Yezzo takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Yezzo. 2 outs, bases full of Wild Things. Southern Illinois leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. DeBoo looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 1-0. And Yezzo a swing and a miss and a ball at the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo at the first base position tonight has normally been the DH for your Wild Things over the last couple of weeks, but tonight getting the start out there at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike. DeBoo looks in, has his sign, and the 1. Yezzo takes outside for a ball. DeBoo falls behind, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Magruder at third, Rodriguez at second, Popkins at first, as the bases are full of Wild Things. DeBoo looks in, has his sign, he's set, the 2-1. Yezzo outside for a ball, 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 the count on Yezzo. DeBoo in danger of walking in a run. All 3 runners on base are the responsibility of Zach Cooper. DeBoo has his sign, he's set, the 3-1. And this ball lined down the right field line and foul. So the count 3-2. Yezzo that close to clearing the bases. A nice snag made over there actually in the Wild Things bullpen, as Zach Groats gloving that one, protecting Brian O'Keefe. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. Bases full of Wild Things. The on-deck man, Andrew Heck. DeBoo looking in. Has his sign, he's set. The 3-2. And Yezzo a chopper to short. Rosario charging. Has it, throw to first, and it's in time for 3. The Wild Things can't get a run across in the inning on just 1 hit, no errors, and 3 men left on base. After 7, the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 8th, and the score, Southern Illinois 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Pitching change for the Washington Wild Things is coming on now. Left-hander Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe enters this one with a record of 2-0, a 2.17 ERA, appearing in his 13th game. He has made 1 start on the season, has thrown 20 2/3 innings of work, giving up 6 runs, 5 earned on 16 hits, 19 strikeouts, and 5 walks on the season for the left-hander. The final line for the starter, Luke Wilkins. Wilkins went 7 runs, all earned on 3 hits, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The first time that Luke Wilkins has given up more than 3 earned runs in a ball game this season. So Brian O'Keefe in to pitch here in the 8th. Do have to face him in this 8th inning will be Nolan Early, Craig Massey, and Alex De Leon, 2, 3, and 4, facing off against Brian O'Keefe. Last inning, the Southern Illinois Miners went 1, 2, 3. Edison Sanchez robbed of a base hit by Austin Wobrock. Francisco Rosario popped out, and Aaron Gates grounded out to end the inning. Nolan Early making his way to the plate here to start off the top of the 8th inning. Early so far is 1 for 3, flew out to right field in the first, RBI single in the third, and flew out in inning number 5. Now stepping in here in the 8th. Brian O'Keefe, the new pitcher for the Wild Things. Andrew Wick starts to warm in the Wild Things bullpen. O'Keefe looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and this ball fouled off. No balls and a strike, back to the seats and left. 0-1 the count on Nolan Early, the number 2 man in the Southern Illinois Miners order. 4-2 Southern Illinois currently leading your Washington Wild Things. O'Keefe set, here's the 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball count, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Nolan Early. Southern Illinois, the first place team in the Frontier League West. Your Washington Wild Things tied for first in the Frontier League East. Here's the pitch. It's a called strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Nolan Early, the number 2 man in this Southern Illinois order. This one grounded, a nice backhand by Rodriguez. Throw to first, and it's in time to get Nolan Early. A great play by Ricky Rodriguez, making the backhanded stop and throws to first in time to get Early at first base. And they just tossed Nolan Early. Early was upset about the call, got in the face of the field umpire Jim Scaly, and Nolan Early has just been tossed from this ball game. You could see as he was walking back from the first base bag, he kind of brushed up against the side of Jim Scaly. Mike Pinto out there arguing right now with a nice backhanded stop by Ricky Rodriguez. The throw bounced over to first base. Yezzo able to pick the ball out of the dirt. Pinto currently making his case with the first base umpire Jim Scaly. So Nolan Early has just been tossed from this ball game as he will be forced to leave. Mike Pinto currently still out there arguing his case, and Pinto will walk back. So Early is ejected from this ball game. He'll have to leave. Pinto stays in the game, and that'll bring up the second baseman Craig Massey. Massey so far 1 for 3. A struck out looking in the first, flew out in the third, and hit his solo home run, his 5th home run of the season in inning number 5. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads. Nolan Early tossed from this ball game, and they're waiting for him to leave the dugout. Early is still not left the Southern Illinois Miners dugout, and that's what home plate umpire Mark Schmidt is waiting for. He's looking over at that Southern Illinois Miners dugout. As Nolan Early's been tossed, they're waiting for him to leave, and there he goes. He grabs his bat, and he'll walk towards the Southern Illinois clubhouse. He is done for the day. So play will resume with Craig Massey stepping in. Massey's 5th home run of the season gave the Southern Illinois Miners this 4-2 lead, an insurance run in that 5th inning. Brian O'Keefe, 1 out, has got that ground out. A very nice play by All-Star Ricky Rodriguez. Backhand and the throw over to first. As stepping in now is Craig Massey, finally digging into the plate. Brian O'Keefe looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And Massey showing bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, that one in the dirt. 1-0 the count here on Craig Massey. Massey's 5th home run of the season in that 5th inning. A solo shot. Right now, Florence leading Joliet 3-1, the team the Washington Wild Things are tied for first place with. O'Keefe set the 1-0. And this ball hit the left field. Andrew Heck not having to move very far, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. So a 2-pitch second out here in the 8th inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman Alex De Leon. That game in the bottom of the 3rd between the Freedom and the Joliet Slammers. De Leon so far on the day 0 for 2, grounded out in the 2nd and flew out in the 5th, as well as walking in the 4th inning. And manager Greg Langbang coming to the mound now. So we're going to have a pitching change. We're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
charter school. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the top of the 8th. And the score, Southern Illinois 4, Washington Wild Things 2. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th, and a pitching change for the Wild Things as Andrew Wick comes on with 2 men out. Wick enters this one with a record of 2-0, 2 saves on the season, a 4.28 ERA, appearing in his 18th game, has thrown 21 innings of work, giving up 13 runs, 10 earned on 17 hits, 16 strikeouts, and 8 walks for the right-hander, coming on to face the right-handed batter, Alex DeLeon, as Brian O'Keefe got the first 2 outs in this inning, a ground out by Nolan Early and a fly out by Craig Massey. So O'Keefe goes 2/3 of an inning, not giving up a run on no hits, no walks, and no strikeouts for Brian O'Keefe. Making his way to the plate now is Alex DeLeon. DeLeon so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the second, walked in the fourth, and flew out in inning number 5. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th, 4-2 Southern Illinois leads. Andrew Wick into the game for your Washington Wild Things. The third pitcher used by the Wild Things today. Wilkins started, Brian O'Keefe came in relief, and now Andrew Wick in to relieve O'Keefe. Wick has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And checking the swing is DeLeon, and that one's on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. This Washington Wild Things bullpen has been very good in the first half, as they look to continue the success here in the second half. The 0-1, and that one is low for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 men out here in the top of the 8th. Andrew Wick on the mound, facing off against Alex DeLeon. Wick looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And DeLeon hits a fly ball to right field. Dave Popkins going back a couple of steps, and he will make the catch for out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go the Southern Illinois Miners here in the 8th, and after 7.5 the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the bottom of the 8th, and the score, the Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Some changes defensively for the Southern Illinois Miners, is now out in center field is Brendan O'Brien. Moving over to left field over to right field, is Aaron Gates. So Gates over to right, and Brendan O'Brien into the game in center field, following the ejection of Nolan Early last inning. And now on the mound for the Southern Illinois Miners is Evan Mott, the right-hander. Mott so far on the year currently enters this one with a record of 1-1, 1 save on the season, a 4.15 ERA. Appearing in his 25th game, has thrown 21 2/3 innings of work, giving up 11 runs, 10 earned on 22 hits, 16 strikeouts, and 7 walks. So coming into the game on the mound is Evan Mott. In the field, in right field, is Aaron Gates. Gates moving over there from center. And in center field is now Brendan O'Brien. Due up to face Mott here in the 8th for the Wild Things. Andrew Heck, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock, 6, 7, and 8, facing off against Mott. The final line for Chris DeBoo. DeBoo went a third of an inning, not giving up a run on no hits, not walking a man, and not striking anybody out. Andrew Heck making his way to the plate here to lead things off in the bottom of the 8th. Wild Things trying to get back into this one, down by 2. Heck so far today, 1 for 3, grounded out in the second, flew out in the fourth, and singled in inning number 6. As Mott looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch to Heck. And Heck takes this one for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Andrew Heck. Evan Mott, the new pitcher for Southern Illinois. Brendan O'Brien out in center. Aaron Gates moves from center to right after the ejection of Nolan Early. Mott has his sign. He's set, and the 0-1. And Heck takes this one for a strike as well. No balls and 2 strikes. For Mott, he does have 16 strikeouts in 21 and 2/3 innings of work, so striking out batters at a pretty high rate early on in the season. Evan Mott, the right-hander, versus Andrew Heck, the right-handed batter. Mott has his sign. He's set, and the 0-2 pitch. And Heck checks his swing, and he went around, says home plate umpire Mark Schmidt. So Heck strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far 0 for 2. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and grounded out in inning number 6. 1 man out here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-2 Southern Illinois leads. Uxa, the Week 9 Player of the Week in the Frontier League for your Washington Wild Things. Mott looks in, has his sign. He's set, and the pitch to Uxa. And he takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Logan Uxa, the designated hitter in today's game. Him and Yezo flipping positions. We've seen Uxa play that first base position more often than we've seen Jimmy Yezo play it this year. But today, Yezo out there at first, Uxa the DH. Mott has his sign. He's set, and the 1-0. And Uxa, ground ball to short. Rosario has it, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 8th, and that'll bring up the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far in this one, 1 for 2, walked and scored a run in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and flew out in inning number 6. Wild Things looking for some more 2-out magic. The 2-out, 2 RBI single or double by Austin Wobrock came in the 2nd inning. That's the only runs of the game for your Wild Things so far. Mott has his sign. He's set, and the pitch. And Pollock fouls this one off to the right and back behind the Wild Things bullpen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Kyle Pollock. The Wild Things actually out-hitting the Southern Illinois Miners in this one. 5 hits for your Wild Things compared to 3 hits for the Southern Illinois Miners. Mott looking in to Riley Moore. Mott has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. And Pollock towards second base, handled there by Massey. Massey throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go your Wild Things here in the 8th. And after 8, the score. The Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 9th, and the score, Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Andrew Wick remains on the mound for his first full inning of work, came in to relieve Brian O'Keefe, got the last out in the top of inning number 8. Last inning for the Miners, Nolan Early grounded out and then was ejected after a very nice play by Ricky Rodriguez. And then Craig Massey flew out, and Alex De Leon flew out to end the inning. Due up to face Wick here in the 9th is Vin Galletti, Steve Marino, and Riley Moore. 5, 6, and 7 facing off against Wick. Wick got his first man, Alex De Leon, to fly out in the top of inning number 8. Making his way to the plate is Vin Galletti, the DH. Galletti so far 0 for 3, grounded out in the second, reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the fourth, and would ground out in inning number 6. 4 runs, 3 hits for the Miners, 2 runs, 5 hits for your Washington Wild Things. Andrew Wick, his first full inning of work in the bullpen for the Southern Illinois Miners. There is action out there. Wick has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And this one swung on a miss. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Warming up out there is Adam Lopez. 0-1 the count here on Vin Galletti, the DH. Wick looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt. Nice block by Kyle Pollock as it bounced up and almost got him in a very bad place, but he was able to get the glove there, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Vin Galletti. Andrew Wick on the mound for his first full inning of work. Wick set, and the 1-1. And Galletti pops this one up. Back behind the plate, but it'll get into the seats foul, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Vin Galletti. Nobody out tonight. Andrew Wick in for his first full inning. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen. Devin Davis warming up out there for your Washington Wild Things. Wick looking in to Kyle Pollock. Wick has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Vin Galletti. Wick looks in to Kyle Pollock, has his sign, he's set. And the 2-2 pitch. And this ball hit to left field. Andrew Heck going back, and he will make the catch for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the 9th. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Steve Marino. Marino so far 1 for 3, grounded out in the second, hit a 2-run homer in the 4th, and flew out in inning number 6. Now up here in the 9th, the captain of these Southern Illinois Miners. Andrew Wick looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And that one's high for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Steve Marino. Andrew Wick in for his first full inning of work. Devin Davis is out in the bullpen, and he is ready if needed. Here's the 1-0, and that one's a called strike at the knees. Count goes even to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck is the left-handed batter, Riley Moore, so we'll see if manager Greg Langben will go to lefty Davis if Wick can get this out. Wick set, here's the 1-1, and that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Steve Marino. Andrew Wick was the closer to start this season for your Wild Things, but after struggles was moved into the setup role. Wick has his sign, he's set, and the 2-1. And that one swung on a miss in the dirt. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Wick this season so far. He does have 16 strikeouts in 21 innings of work to go along with 8 walks. So it has had a pretty good success rate in terms of strikeouts. Here's the 2-2. And broken back, grounded to Wobrock. Wobrock has it, throw on to first, and it's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Wick here to start this top of the 9th, and manager Greg Langben will come out of the dugout with the lefty on deck, and will go to the lefty of his own. We're going to have a pitching change. We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the top of the 9th, 2 men out for the Southern Illinois Miners, and the Southern Illinois Miners lead this one 4-2. Pitching change for your Washington Wild Things is coming into this one is Devin Davis. Davis, a record of 1-1, 2 saves on the year, a 2.91 ERA, appearing in his 21st game. Has thrown 24 2/3 innings of work, giving up 8 runs, all earned on 23 hits, 28 strikeouts, and 9 walks on the season for the left-hander, coming in this one to face the left-hander Riley Moore. So he's the 4th pitcher used by the Washington Wild Things on the day, as Andrew Wick's night is over. Wick ended up going a full inning of work, giving up no runs on no hits, no walks, no strikeouts, and ended up throwing 19 pitches in his outing. 6 pitches for Brian O'Keefe, 19 for Andrew Wick, and 104 for the starter Luke Wilkins. That brings to the plate Riley Moore. Moore so far on the day is 0 for 2, grounding out in the 3rd, reached on a walk in the 4th, and struck out in inning number 6. 2 outs, top of the 9th. Devin Davis has his sign, and time is called as home plate umpire Mark Schmidt calls time for the batter Riley Moore. Davis has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Moore takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Devin Davis, 28 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings of work. A very high strikeout rate on the mound out of the bullpen for Davis. Davis setting the 1-0, and that one's in there for a strike on the inside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here on the catcher Riley Moore. 2 outs, top of the 9th. Southern Illinois leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Davis looks in, has his sign, the 1-1, and that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Riley Moore. The lefty Devin Davis in to face the left-handed batter Riley Moore. Wick a full inning of work, not giving up a run on no hits. Brian O'Keefe 2/3 perfect inning in his relief outing. The 2-1, and that's on the outside corner for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Riley Moore. Moore the catcher tonight, as DeMello is on the disabled list for the Southern Illinois Miners. The 2-2, and that one's a called strike 3, and Riley Moore strikes out. That will end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Southern Illinois Miners here in the 9th. On to the bottom of the 9th, and the score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the bottom of the 9th, and the score, the Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. And on to pitch the 9th inning will be right-handed pitcher Adam Lopez. Lopez enters this one with a record of 1 save, no ERA on the year, appearing in his 4th game. Has thrown 3 innings of work, not giving up a run on just 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So Adam Lopez in the bottom of the 9th to face your Washington Wild Things. Evan Mott's final line, 1 inning, did not give up a run. It was not earned on no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout through 7 pitches in his outing. Chris DeBoo, a 1/3 of an inning, no runs for him as he threw 6 pitches. Zach Cooper, 2/3 of an inning, walked 2, gave up 1 hit but did not give up a run, also struck out a man, and threw 23 pitches in his outing. The starter Dylan Nuremberg, 6 innings, 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts, 96 pitches for Nuremberg. Due up here to face Adam Lopez in the bottom of the 9th Austin Wobrock, Jamadrick Magruder, and Ricky Rodriguez. 9-1-2 facing off against Lopez as Wobrock makes his way to the plate. Wobrock so far 1 for 3, a 2 RBI double in the second, struck out in the fourth, and flew out in inning number 7. The number 9 hitter in this Wild Things order trying to get things started here in the bottom of the ninth. The Wild Things had a chance in the 7th with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but could not come through as they stranded the bases loaded in that situation. Lopez on the mound getting ready to pitch the 9th. Wild Things trying to give him his first earned run of the year. Lopez has his sign, he's set, and the pitch to Wobrock. And Wobrock takes it outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things shortstop. It'll be Austin Wobrock, Jamadrick Magruder, and Ricky Rodriguez. 9-1-2 here in the 9th. Lopez has his sign and the 1-0. And Wobrock takes this one for a strike at the knees. Count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. For Lopez, 2 strikeouts and 2 walks in his 3 innings of work. So he does walk some people, but also has a good strikeout ability. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lopez has his sign and the 1-1. And that one's a called strike as well in the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2 on Austin Wobrock. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out, bottom of the 9th. Wobrock, the number 9 hitter, at the plate. Lopez looks in to Riley Moore, the catcher. Lopez has his sign, he's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Wobrock chases one in the dirt and strikes out. First strikeout of the day for Adam Lopez. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. That'll bring up the second baseman, Jamadrick Magruder. Magruder so far 0 for 1. Walked in the first, walked in the second, struck out looking in the 5th, and walked in inning number 7. So Jamadrick Magruder coming to the plate. Game 2 will be played tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch. Trevor Foss on the hill for your Washington Wild Things. Foss will be opposed by Dan Ludwig. Here's the pitch, and Magruder fouls this one off into the seats. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Jamadrick Magruder. Batting here in the bottom of the 9th with 1 man out, trying to get on base for the 4th time today. Has reached base 3 times via the walk. Lopez looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 0-1. And Magruder takes this one low for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Wild Things second baseman, Jamadrick Magruder. Lopez looking in to the catcher, Riley Moore. Lopez has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Magruder takes this one for a called strike as well in the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out, 4 runs, 3 hits for the Miners, 2 runs, 5 hits for your Washington Wild Things. Wild Things out hitting the Miners, but not leading in the category that counts, which is the scoreboard. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Lopez set. Here's the 1-2. And Magruder takes in the dirt. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Wild Things trying to get a runner on base as the tying run in the on-deck circle with the Wild Things down by 2. If Magruder can get on, he can make things happen on the base paths with his legs. 23 stolen bases a year ago for the Grand Prairie Air Hogs. So we'll see if he can get on base here with 1 man out and give the Wild Things a chance to get back in this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out, 4-2 Southern Illinois leads. Lopez has his sign, the 2-2. And Magruder up the middle. That's a base hit. That's just what you wanted from Jamadrick Magruder. He gets on base with 1 out, and that gives Ricky Rodriguez a chance to be the tying run at the plate. 1 out, runner at first. Jamadrick Magruder, his first hit of the day, his 4th time on base in this one. Rodriguez at the plate. Rodriguez so far 1 for 4. Grounded out in the first, struck out in the second, struck out in the 5th, and singled in inning number 7. Up here with a runner at first and 1 man out, Adam Lopez on the mound. Lopez has yet to give up a run this season, looking for save number 2 on the year. Lopez has his sign, checks Magruder. Here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Ricky Rodriguez over at third base tonight for your Washington Wild Things. Jamadrick Magruder at first, Adam Lopez on the mound. Lopez has his sign, checks on Magruder. And a throw over there, and Magruder gets back in. Jamadrick Magruder, no stolen bases for the Wild Things as of yet, playing in his third game for the Wild Things this season. No action in either bullpen as the Wild Things try to tie this game in the bottom of the ninth. Lopez set, here's the 1-0. And Rodriguez to left field and deep. And now it's coming in, and making the catch will be Sanchez. And that is out number 2. Looked like Rodriguez had a lot more of that ball than he did, as it kind of died in the air. It came off really fast off the bat and then just died in the air. A lazy fly ball to left field. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up Chris Grayson to the plate. Grayson so far 1 for 4, struck out in the first, flew out in the third, singled in the fifth, and struck out in inning number 7. Grayson, the last chance for your Washington Wild Things. He tries to tie this game. Grayson did hit 2 home runs with the Sioux Falls Canaries. Adam Lopez looks in. Lopez has his sign. He's set, and the pitch. And Grayson to center field. And now going to left, coming in is Sanchez, and he will make the catch. And that is the end of this one. Final score, Southern Illinois Miners 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. The win going to Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg improves to 4-1. The loss going to Luke Wilkins. Wilkins falls to 2-2. The save goes to Adam Lopez, his second save of the year. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with the Washington Wild Things postgame show right here on the MSA Sports Network. Final score in this one, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Final score in this one, Southern Illinois 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. The win going to Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg improves to 4-1. The loss going to Luke Wilkins. Wilkins falls to 2-2. The save to Adam Lopez. Lopez's second save of the season. Scoring recap here for your Washington Wild Things. The Wild Things would actually get on the board first in this one, as in the bottom of the second, Jimmy Yezzo flew out to start things, then Andrew Heck grounded out. Then Logan Uxa and Kyle Pollock back-to-back 2-out walks. There were runners at first and second with 2 men out before Austin Wobrock came through with a 2 RBI double. RBIs 10 and 11 for Wobrock, and the Wild Things took a 2-0 lead. Jamadrick Magruder would walk following the 2 RBI double, and Ricky Rodriguez struck out to end the inning. Then Southern Illinois responding in the top of the third inning. Riley Moore grounded out to start things. Then Edison Sanchez walked and Francisco Rosario walked. So the runners at first and second, 1 out. Aaron Gates put it into a fielder's choice. So Rosario was erased at second. Sanchez moved up to third. Runners at the corners and 2 men out before Nolan Early came through with an RBI single that made the score 2-1 and scored Edison Sanchez. Then Craig Massey would fly out to end the inning. Miners back on the board in the top of the fourth. Alex De Leon walked to start things. Then Vingoletti grounded into a fielder's choice, a 4-6 fielder's choice on that one, before Steve Marino came through with a 2-run home run. Marino's 11th home run of the season, and that gave the Southern Illinois Miners a 3-2 lead. Riley Moore would walk, Edison Sanchez would ground into a fielder's choice, and Francisco Rosario would ground out to end the inning. Miners added on again in the top of the fifth. Aaron Gates flew out. Nolan Early flew out to start the inning with 2 outs. Craig Massey, a solo home run, his 5th home run of the season, over the right field wall, gave the Southern Illinois Miners a 4-2 lead. Alex De Leon would fly out to end the inning. Luke Wilkins would finish his outing on a positive note, however, as he retired the Miners 1-2-3 in the 6th inning, getting Vingiletti to ground out. Steve Marino flew out, and Riley Moore a 10-pitch strikeout to end the inning. Final line for Luke Wilkins. Wilkins went 7, giving up 4 runs, all earned on 3 hits, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. It was the first time this season that Luke Wilkins had given up more than 3 earned runs in a game. Gives up 4 earned runs today, unfortunately picking up the loss in this one. For his mound opponent, Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg went 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, all earned, on 4 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. 96 pitches thrown for Dylan Nuremberg on the night. The Wild Things would try to mount a comeback in the bottom of the 7th. Austin Wobrock flew out to start things. Then Jamadric Magruder walked and Ricky Rodriguez singled. There were runners at first and second with 1 man out. A wild pitch would move them to second and third with 1 out before Chris Grayson struck out, and Dave Popkins, an intentional walk, loaded the bases, and that was all for reliever Zach Cooper. Cooper went 2/3 of an inning, not giving up a run on 1 hit, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. He threw 23 pitches on the mound, and coming in to relieve him would be Chris DeBoo. DeBoo got Jimmy Yezzo to ground out with the bases loaded to end that threat. DeBoo just going 1/3 of an inning, getting that 1 ground out and throwing 6 pitches. Then Evan Mott and Adam Lopez came in to close things out. Mott a 1-2-3 8th inning, getting Andrew Heck to strike out, Logan Uxa to ground out, and Kyle Pollock to ground out. Then in the 9th, Adam Lopez struck out Austin Wobrock to start things. Jamadric Magruder would single with 1 man out before Ricky Rodriguez flew out and Chris Grayson flew out to end the game. That's how we got to the final score. Southern Illinois 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. As we said, the win going to Dylan Nuremberg. Nuremberg 4-1 on the season now. The loss going to Luke Wilkins. Wilkins goes to 2-2. The save to Adam Lopez, his 2nd save of the season. Wild Things back in action tomorrow night, 7:05 p.m. first pitch for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Trevor Foss on the mound for your Washington Wild Things. Has 7 complete games on the season. Looking for complete game number 8 on the year as he'll take on Dan Ludwig for the Southern Illinois Miners. Ludwig the left-hander, Foss the right-hander. Your Wild Things star of the game today going to go to Austin Wobrock. Wobrock 1 for 4, 2 RBIs, drove in the only 2 runs for your Wild Things today with that 2-out, 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 2nd. So your Wild Things player of the game, Austin Wobrock, in this one. But unfortunately, the Wild Things not victorious tonight. They lose this one by the final score of 4-2. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch for Trevor Foss versus Dan Ludwig. But tonight from Consol Energy Park, final score, Southern Illinois 4, your Washington Wild Things 2. Thank you for listening to the MSA Sports Network, and have a good night, everybody.